Recording in progress. Madam Clerk, please start the meeting.
Yes, you go ahead, Mayor.
We are now live. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I hereby reconvene the Santa Ana City Council meeting to order. This meeting is taking place with in-person attendance and by teleconference via Zoom. The public may access the meeting via the Santa Ana YouTube channel or the city's website. Please bear with us as the technology may disrupt the flow of the meeting. Madam Clerk, please conduct the roll call.
Councilmember Becerra.
Here.
Councilmember Hernandez.
Present.
Councilmember Penaloza.
Present.
Councilmember Fan.
Here.
Councilmember Vasquez.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Here.
Mayor Mesqua.
Present.
The record show all members are present.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, before we proceed to the Pledge of Allegiance, please make an announcement.
Thank you, Mayor. For members of the public on Zoom or teleconference to request to speak during public comments on agenda or non-agenda items within the city's jurisdiction, you must dial *9 from your phone or click the button labeled Raised Hand from Zoom now in order to be in the speaker queue. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. May I please bring up Martha Rivera, please, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's Commissioner Martha Rivera.
Everyone, please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you. At this time, the words of inspiration will be provided by Rabbi Sharon Sobel from Temple Beth Shalom. Rabbi Sobel, please come to the podium.
Thank you, Mayor Mesqua, for inviting me to join you for this special moment. I moved to California and Santa Ana exactly 1 year ago on June 22nd. Santa Ana's diversity, beauty, and wealth of culture and other opportunities continue to make me proud each and every day. As we gather this evening as a diverse community bound by a shared purpose to serve and better our city, let us take a moment to reflect on the importance of this meeting and the responsibilities entrusted to each and every one of us. Dear God, we can all feel the power in this room, the power to make a difference, the power to make change, the power to either lift up or to denigrate, to sanctify or to desecrate, to perpetuate, to change the fate of our community and our world by our actions, our words, and our deeds. However, our power is fragile. It's limited by the vagaries of the human condition, and it's also illusory. For everything we do is relative to our situation and our ability to perceive the world around us. So we ask for the blessings of insight, wisdom, and the ability to truly listen. May all of you be granted the strength and wisdom to fulfill your responsibilities with integrity, humility, and a commitment to the common good. As we deliberate this evening, may the spirit of unity and respect prevail within this chamber. Help us to transcend our differences, to listen deeply to one another, and to work together toward our shared goals. Grant us the ability to see beyond personal interests and biases, to prioritize the welfare of all those whom we serve. May the City Council be a beacon of fairness, understanding, and compassion. As challenges arise, may you find patience and kindness toward others who may think or feel differently. May your resolve be strengthened to face adversity with courage, perseverance, and a commitment to finding equitable solutions. May your words be imbued with wisdom and your actions guided by righteousness. May our blessings extend beyond these walls, encompassing the entire city and all of its inhabitants, because each one of us and all those who work on behalf of our city is vital to our communal efforts as we work toward building a just, harmonious, and thriving society. May this be God's will.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, are there any additions or deletions to the City Council agenda?
Yes, Madam Mayor, the City Attorney has an announcement to make.
City Attorney?
Mayor, council members, members of the public, the Brown Act authorizes the City Council to add items to your agenda if they're deemed urgent. And under the Brown Act, the City Council can add items to the agenda if they can make two findings. The first finding is that the item came up after the posting of the agenda and that there is a need to take immediate action. Today, the city received, and after the posting of the agenda, numerous letters in relation to item number 32 on your agenda, which is resolutions under AB 2011 and SB 6. We are asking that the City Council consider adding to your agenda this evening items that mirror item 32, but which would be a urgency ordinance in the first reading of a regular ordinance to supplement the resolutions that are being proposed to you. So I would need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion, Madam City Attorney.
And a second,
I
and
need
would
a
need a
second.
supermajority vote.
Second by Councilman Becerra. You want to do a roll call vote, please?
A motion by Mayor Amezcua, seconded by Councilmember Becerra to add item 32A, related ordinances to the resolutions on the agenda. Councilmember Becerra?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Penaloza?
Yes.
Councilmember Fan?
Yes.
Councilmember Vasquez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez?
Yes.
Mayor Amezcua?
Yes.
Vote is 7 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Item 32A added to the agenda for tonight's consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney. At this time, we're going to do presentations, and I get to do the first presentation. May I please have Dorothy Dottie Brown, please, for outstanding contributions to the community. I hear you had a birthday, Dottie. You're 101 years old. We're gonna sing. We are going to sing happy birthday to Dottie on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dottie. Happy birthday to you. Now, go, Noah. We're not done yet. All right, so I asked Dottie to come because today, well, this month is your birthday. What's the official day?
28th.
June 28th,
Next
101.
week. Next week.
All right, I want to look like you when I'm 101. You could probably outwalk me, okay? So Dottie's been a resident of Santa Ana and a local hero who's been saving lives through blood donation for more than 70 years. She donates her type O whole blood every 56 days at the American Red Cross Center in Santa Ana for more than 70 years. Right? Give her a round of applause. Imagine how many lives. Think about how many lives Dottie has saved and how many lives she has touched. Dottie believes in giving blood and is determined to provide her life saving donations as long as she can. She's described as a woman of faith and an example of putting compassion into action. We would like to wish her a happy birthday, and we want to thank you from the city of Santa Ana and from me as the mayor. I saw you at the Red Cross Awards. I was like, I have to have Dottie come in. And we want to thank you for your outstanding contributions to the community because for more than 70 years, Dottie, I don't know anybody that's been giving blood that long. And I bet you if they checked how many lives you've saved, It's been a whole bunch, and so.
More people should do it.
More people should do, you're gonna talk about that right now. But I have this proclamation for you, Dorothy Dottie Brown from the city of Santa Ana, and it's signed by the council and myself. And you can put this in a frame. I also have something else for you. For your birthday, I have this beautiful cupcake. So I hope you like sweets, okay? I'm sure you're sweet enough, but, so we want to make sure you take this with you. And here's an opportunity for you to say something.
Well, I just thank you very much for this honor. This is unexpected. I kind of came to California. I mean, came to Santa Ana because my husband was. I married into it. My husband.
Nothing wrong with that.
My husband had been here in the early 20s, and we were married in 1946. So I've been here for a long time.
Wow.
3 children born at Santa Ana Community Hospital.
Yes.
And I was a realtor for 50 years, Santa Ana Realty was where I started. And so Santa Ana is pretty big for me.
Well, it's big for me too. So thank you so much, Dottie. And again, you've been giving blood longer than you've been selling real estate.
Yes, that's right.
So we wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you so
We
much.
wanted to give you this, and so
Aren't you
I'll
nice?
give the cupcake. Is that your son over there?
Yes.
Okay, so come on over here. Come on over here. Give your name, and you're more than welcome to say something.
I'm Jamie, I'm her son.
Yeah. And that's all you need to say, right? All right, that's for
Thank
you.
you, Mayor.
And don't share this, okay? This is just for you. Okay, let's take a picture. Look over here at Paul. Come on here. No, you can come in. Hold on one second, Paul. I'm so sorry. Does any of the council want to come down? Yes. Come down. Thank you. We want them all to be here. They're gonna all come down. It's a special day. It is. Special. Thank you. Thank you. This is quite an honor.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you, sir. Happy birthday, Mayor. It's an honor to be here. Happy birthday. All right. We'll go right over here.
There we go.
I will send this to you. We'll have the clerk send it.
Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing it. Thank you so much. This is the best part of my job. Best part of my job. All right, it's one of those rare moments where it just warms your heart. So, second presentation is made by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez to Grupo La Familia LGBTQ for outstanding contributions to the community. So if the group would like to come up, please, are they here?
Que quepamos todos.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you. So we are here to present a certificate of our outstanding contributions to Grupo La Familia, and Patty and Luis are going to be speaking right after me. But Grupo La Familia is a support group for parents and family members of LGBTQ individuals. They were founded here in Orange County in 2011, and the group primarily focuses on increasing the understanding and support for LGBTQ folks through a culturally diverse lens. And since its inception, Grupo La Familia has helped numerous families navigate the realities of their loved ones' identities, resulting in stronger community ties and support for their family members. And in 2019, La Familia began holding its meetings at the LGBTQ Center here in Orange County. And in 2021, the group became part of the LGBTQ Center OC's Immigration Resource Department. The group also helps parents and other family members understand and process their loved ones' identities, and their multi-generational work focuses on understanding LGBTQ plus terminology and sharing their experience as they build an inclusive and safe community where they can learn from one another to understand, help, and support the people that they love. They hold monthly meetings at the LGBTQ Center here in Santa Ana and participate in numerous cultural events throughout the county, the city, the state, including the Pride Parade, which is happening this weekend, and you're all welcome to come out and participate. And the group is as impactful as ever, especially in the light of the many legislative attacks that so many of our siblings are experiencing, of our residents are experiencing, and people, not just in California, but throughout the country. And so Grupo La Familia really exists to provide a safe and supportive space for families to find support and build stronger bonds with one another and within each other in this community, and within the context of, acceptance and truly unconditional love for the people that they love. And so we want to thank you for the outstanding work that you all do, for your contributions to the city, to the county, to the state, but primarily for all the work that you do for the young people here in the city, and to not just tell them that you love them, but really show up for them when they need it the most. So thank you. I'm going to hand this over to Luis, and then we'll hear from Patty.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem. On behalf of the LGBTQ Center OC, we just want to thank the City of Santa Ana for this recognition, Mayor Pro Tem, of course. And we are an organization that is located here in Santa Ana, not too far from here. And as Mayor Pro Tem Lopez was mentioning, we just exist so that families can have a safe and supportive space so they can learn from one another, especially in today's context in which there is significant disinformation and misconceptions about LGBTQ people impacting transgender youth most severely. I don't want to take too much time because I want to also thank the parents of Grupo La Familia, because this is a group of parents it's for parents by parents. So I want to welcome Patty to the front as well to share a couple words in Spanish. Thank you so much as our leader.
Gracias. Como dice mi compañero Luis, no tenemos mucho tiempo, así es que voy a tratar de ser breve. Esta es mi familia, Grupo La Familia, así es que lo único que nos concentramos nosotros en formar comunidad, entrelazarlos, que sea más fuerte la comunidad, ser inclusivos en todo y muchísimo, y más que nada tratar de entender a nuestros hijos, ¿ok? Si tienen alguna pregunta, alguna duda, nosotros estamos abiertos para recibir, para platicar, para entender. Cuando nos reunimos es un grupo, la familia, no nos ponemos hacemos un círculo, a veces jugamos, a veces platicamos, a veces entre padres e hijos, que es más fácil entender de los dos lados, porque nada más queremos que nos entiendan a nosotros, pero también nosotros tenemos que entender a nuestros hijos y llegar a un en medio. Así es que los esperamos. Muchísimas gracias a la ciudad que nos hizo este reconocimiento, y todos somos parte del Padre de la Familia, así es que muchísimas gracias y estoy muy, muy, muy orgullosa de todos ustedes. Gracias.
Thank you. Felicidades. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next we have Councilmember Becerra. The Santa Ana College Dons baseball team.
I have to correct the mayor. It's the state champion Santa Ana College Dons baseball team. Come on up, guys. You like that? Hey, Coach, good to see you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Come on down, gentlemen, all the way down. Come on down. My apologies. Congratulations. 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 Come on, all of you, come on in. Come on. Congratulations. Some of you gonna have to get in the front. Come on down. Come on down.
Now,
Congratulations.
this ain't a basketball team, it's a baseball team.
Picture. Congratulations. Y'all fit? I think we got everybody. I need a few more down here. Can I get one down here? All right.
So behind me today, we have the Santa Ana College Dons baseball team who claimed its 4th state title in program history after going undefeated in the 2023 California Community College Athletic Association, or the 3C2A state championships that were held over Memorial Day weekend under the leadership of head coach Tom Niles and his coaching staff. So SAC led the Southern California community colleges in home runs with 61. Most home runs in school history in the BBC OR era. What's that? New bat certification. Ah, the new bats, okay. First in Southern California and second in the entire state in runs scored with 477. That's right, yeah. Second in the state with 611 hits. 8th in the state in strikeouts with 387. That's striking out the other team, let's just be clear, right? For the Dons, though, to put an end to this 27-year title drought and bring Santa Ana College baseball back on top, they had to win 3 games in the 3C2A state championships over Memorial Day weekend. So in game 1, after 5 hours and 15 innings, where's Ryan Stock? Ryan. So Ryan hits the game-winning home run over the left field fence. So Ryan did that to defeat Folsom Lake College, 8-7. So in the next game, it wasn't even close. It was 13-4 beating Saddleback College down the 5 freeway. And then in the championship game, it was even worse. It was 21-8 in favor of the Dons. 21-8. That win brought home the state championship. Sophomore outfielder Christian Thompson. Where are you? There you are. All right. Right behind me. Christian Thompson was named the most valuable player of the tournament after going 10 for 16 with 4 runs batted in over 3 games, which included a 5 for 5 performance in the final game. So tonight, it's my honor, along with the mayor and the council, to congratulate the state champion Santa Ana College baseball team. So, Coach, come on up here. Tell us a little bit about the game. Tell us a little bit about the season.
Look, it was incredible what these guys were able to achieve. It's a remarkable feat. It's definitely it's extremely difficult to go through this thing. Takes a lot of support. I've been coaching 20 years now. My wife's been there with me for all but one of them, and but not just her. It takes support of these guys' families, the community, right? Our administration. It's an extremely difficult thing for these guys to be able to perform at a high level, and they were able to do it. I'll tell you, from a personal standpoint, it was probably most fun year coaching, not just because we won. Just that helps. But just being around the guys and seeing them want to achieve more, and the time, the effort they put in, those are all the things that we preach as coaches and as teachers at the college, is just keep pursuing your dreams. These guys did it. I'm gonna miss you guys. Guys that are moving on, I miss this group. I had a lot of fun. I've said that to you a lot of times, and from the bottom of my heart, man, I love you guys. It was a lot of fun.
Well, winning is fun, right? I would like to have Ryan come up. So here's your chance. Tell us, live the moment again. Tell us all about it.
Yeah. Honestly, I had like no confidence going into that game. I came in as a defensive sub in the 9th to replace Jimmy DeAndo, which was doing great all season. And I remember in the bottom of the 9th, before I was gonna hit in the 10th, I went up to one of our catchers and I was like, dude, you should get ready because I don't think I'm gonna hit. And him and Mario both looked at me and just said that I shouldn't be talking like that in nicer words. But I remember when I hit the go-ahead run in the 13th, it was like pretty electrifying, especially because I've had a really rough season all year, and it really like made like a huge difference in like my attitude throughout the whole year. And then I remember being full of emotion when we blew the lead in the 14th. And then in the 15th, I honestly like can't even really remember. I just realized that I was everything felt really good, and I was seeing the ball really well. And when I honestly first hit the ball, I thought the left fielder was going to catch it because he started running back for the ball. And I remember as soon as I hit first base, I saw it hit the fence behind the wall, and I was just so amped up and pumped up where I don't think I've been that excited or emotional during a game in my life. And now that was the rest is history.
Exactly. You know I'm going to call you.
It's my turn?
It's your turn, so tell us. 5 for 5.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
You got to top that.
Well, it's a wild story. I said, the beginning of the championship day, I came out to the bus, and we were going to leave at like 8:30 or something. I came out walking 5 minutes late to the bus. His coach is screaming at me, let's get your butt on the bus. We got to go win a championship. Me, personally, I'm just focused on myself and, the task at hand, trying to win a game. Coach. I'm sorry I'm late. Head to the game. I'm heading this game full confidence in my ability because it's the last game. Last game in Don's uniform. I want to go out with a bang. And I've just been saying the entire morning, entire day, I'm going to go 5 for 5. I'm going to do that. Just trying to speak into existence. And so pretty much first at bat comes up. I'm grinding on that first at bat. It was a good at bat. I got a hit. And then, next at bat, our two-hitter, it's a ground ball at second base, and I don't slide at second, and I get thrown out. I come back in the dugout, and I'm heated, and I'm just mad at myself because I shouldn't make a mistake like that. And I got Ryan Stock here. I barged out of the dugout into the bullpen because I'm all upset, emotional. I'm messing up. And Stock comes up in the bullpen. He comforts me. He tells me it's all good. It's relaxed. I'm a doc. Remember who I am. And so pretty much, I just go back in the dugout and I just stay focused the entire game. And every at bat, my goal is just to get my pitch and drive it, and put the best swing on. And really, I just worked every account, worked every bat, and that's what happened. That's what happens, and trust the process. And this season's been a long season. I had my ups and downs, but it's all about working out those mistakes I make, to perfect my craft, honestly. So that's how it happened.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. You're crazy. Thank you.
Congratulations. Should we all get a...
Yes.
Let's do it.
These are for you. There's quite a bit. There's a lot of them. So please hand them out to everybody. There's one on the top. Okay. We're going to take a picture.
So maybe the council wants to come down?
Can we get in tight? moment for you. Smile.
Enjoy, guys.
See everybody? Don't want to cover anyone. Stand on your tiptoes. For me, please. Got okay, look at Paul right here in the front. Yep. All right, congratulations. Thank you. You've got your certificate, gentlemen. Now for the final presentation by Councilmember Fan. Councilmember Fan will be giving a proclamation of Parks and Rec.
All right, while they file out, maybe Parks and Recs, all of y'all can file up here. There is an adult league now, right? So adult kickball?
We're going to challenge them in kickball after this.
Sounds like a plan. You gotta add. Councilmember Vasquez needs to join the team, right? Nice hair.
I think we need a second row.
Okay. Now that we have the entire department here. So today we are declaring June 2023 Parks and Recreation Month. And so we'll start out, I was given some talking points, but really a couple of the important things. The California Parks and Recreation Society released a statewide public awareness campaign, Parks Make Life Better. And I think we can all agree that parks are one of the core issues and items in the city that ensures that we have positive, good quality of life. And so that's where I'm gonna put this away. And I wanna say that, first, growing up here in the city of Santa Ana, we don't always have lots of parks. And it's a fight that we have and our staff has been fighting day in and day out to make sure that the parks we do have are fun, accessible, clean, safe, and a place where families can go and enjoy each other and our community. And so that's where our motto here, Parks and Rec, is where community grows. And that's what I've seen our Parks and Rec department, the city council, our city directors have been doing in the short couple years that I've been here. Not only have we fought to clean up our parks, we have implemented more programming so that families can come out, concerts in the park, movies in the park. We're actually updating all the maintenance that's been deferred. We're building community centers, and maybe my favorite is the Santa Anita Community Center and pool after years of community advocacy. After years of other politicians saying, we're not sure, we'll promise you this, but we won't deliver. And this staff, this city council delivered because parks is where communities grow. So, what else has Parks done? Parks has brought back not only programming for our youth, but they've also brought in some adult kickball teams, which, by the way, congrats to Councilmember Vasquez. I believe his team did win the first adult kickball league.
We came in second.
Oh, second, okay, well then. But you know, it's about bringing families out, not just youth, but adults, families, communities, everybody out to say that this is where we belong, and it's where we all want to be. So, before I forget, I do have a list of names that I need to make sure we do. So today with us, and there's going to be many others that we are not going to be able to name tonight, but know that your Parks and Rec team, as well as your Public Works team, is out there every day to make sure that when there is a tree that needs to get trimmed, trash that needs to be picked up, a program that you want to see happen, they're out there to make it happen for you. So, from the Santa Ana Zoo, we have Ethan Fisher, Lauren Berg, Mary Long, and Jenny Walker. From the Parks and Recreation team, we'll hold your applause until I go through this long list. Bill Sandoval, Rudy Hernandez, America Robledo, Corey Lance, Monique Leon, Stella Fajardo, Tim Pagano, Frank Arroyo, Cindy Sanjanito, and Kristen Mormon. Okay, applause to the Parks and Rec team. From Parks Planning, we have Susie Furjanic. Where's Susie? There you go. And from Public Works Maintenance, we have Mike Ortiz, Jorge Acevedo, there you go. And the rest of the Public Works Maintenance team here with us. You know, I just want to say that in my heart, it's a very important place because when we first joined the city council, you know, parks was something that a lot of residents said they didn't want to be there. There's not enough parks. There's not enough room for our kids to be outdoors. Growing up in Santa Ana, we were always told that it's a concrete jungle. And this council, this city team has been fighting every day, whether it's about building new parks, improving our current parks, or expanding the services at our parks. We are fighting for you. So with that, I want to present this proclamation declaring June 2023 as Parks and Recreation Month to our amazing director, Hawk Scott. It's your time to shine, sir.
Like first, I mean, I want to thank, not just my coworkers up here, but again, we've got Nabil and his team up here. We've got Brian and the library team, and it's all of us that make it all work together. And, I accept this on behalf of, not just our team, but for you guys as well, for, all the support and love you share, as well as all our city council member, our city manager. It takes a army to do what we do. And again, thank you guys so much.
So may I invite down our city council to come take a group picture? And while they do that, I want to also say that not only did we just do the groundbreaking for the Santa Anita Community Center and pool, we have, oh my gosh, item 8 on the agenda, which we will talk about relating to the zoo, which is going to be incredible. We are opening new parks in the city that will be upcoming. We've been fighting to obtain new land. Stay tuned. Because this team is not only opening new parks, come out to our concerts, come out to our movies, because that's what they're here to do. So.
Madam City Attorney, do you have anything to report out of closed session?
Mayor, we had 3 closed session items. We do not have any reportable action.
Thank you. This is the time of the meeting for the City Council to receive comments from the public on agenda and non-agenda items pursuant to the Brown Act. The City Council may not enter into discussion at this time. Speakers will have 2 minutes for their comments. Pursuant to resolution number 2013-019, speakers are requested to refrain from profane language, racial epithets, and libelous or slanderous statements that disturb the decorum of the meeting. We will now hear from the members of the public that are on Zoom, Madam City Clerk, and following the 4 on Zoom, then we'll do the ones that are physically present in the council chambers. Madam Clerk, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Before unmuting the callers, I'd like to make a report of the following summary of emails provided as of today. All comments received through 3 p.m. have been scanned and uploaded, are available online and distributed to the council. There were 9 emails on non-agenda items, 1 email related to item 25, the adoption of an MOU with the Santa Ana Police Association, and 5 emails related to item 32, exempting certain eligible parcels from the requirements of Assembly and state bills. Speakers on the queue on Zoom may provide their comments on agenda or non-agenda items within the city's jurisdiction. When unmuted, please announce your name, ward, or neighborhood that you reside in within the city of Santa Ana for the record. And the first speaker on Zoom, Victor Mendez, please unmute and make your comments. You will have 2 minutes to make your comment. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
1 minute, please, before you begin. I thought I was already unmuted. Okay, I can begin. Agenda item number 25, just a few comments on the proposed MOU for the POA. 2 comments. The report basically debunks the myth promoted by ideologues and social media that the full-time release where the POA is paid by the city. It is not. It's paid by the POA members' own compensation for the 1-day floating holiday. It's simply illusory to think or suggest otherwise. Secondly, there is a legitimate objective accounting criteria to book the one-time $2,000 payment for each member in the 22-23 fiscal year versus 23-24. Following approval of the MOU, the council should request this be explored before moving on the course to wait and see how this all settles out in fiscal year 24, as recommended in the staff report. The proposed MOU turns us silent on the intent of this $2,000 and what it's really for, although it's going to its the members of the POA. And it doesn't even address the time, and it only seems to address the timing of the payment with no direct language and possibly prevents the booking of payments in 2023. So perhaps before going down a road, take a look at your options. Item 22, the last time this item appeared, I noticed the excesses associated with the contract was being negotiated. The problem has only gotten worse. The excess dollars paid in the contract is lost and probably would never be covered as a future price base has been set and projects out in the Measure X cost curve to an additional $450,000 that could otherwise be avoided. The excess cost is due to the nearly double CPI factor used in the contract versus the reality of what's happening in the economy. The change in average prices paid for companies like RMAX or domestic producers for their output actually fell 2%. Yet the city manager has approved under the direction of the police chief a nearly 12% increase. Protect the taxpayers from this $450,000 excess police spending and ask the chief of police and city manager to review the pricing with
Mr. Mendez, your time is up.
Thank you.
Next speaker on Zoom, Maria Guillen. Please unmute and make your comments.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Mireya Guillen, lifelong resident of Santa Ana, 1974, Santa Anita, 1975 to 98, Casa Bonita, and present day Artesia Pilar. Few people let go of an opportunity to criticize the city on various issues. However, it takes a person with courage, passion, and love for the city to run for office and try to make it a positive difference in our community. I called today to say I appreciate all the hard work our Mayor Valerie Amezcua has done for the city of Santa Ana. Thank you, Valerie, for making Santa Ana a better place to socialize, shop, live, and work. One more, I'd like to say thank you to Parks and Recreation for bringing back summer concerts at the park. I no longer have to travel elsewhere. I can now enjoy that beautiful event in my city. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Next speaker on Zoom, Berenice Cuellar. Please unmute and make your comments.
Good evening, Mayor Amezcua and City Council members. My name is Berenice Cuellar, and I'm a longtime resident of Santa Ana. And I want to address the council tonight because, as a member of a family-owned business in the city of Santa Ana, it makes me sad to see many council members supporting street vendors. And I have a question for the council members. How do you support brick and mortar businesses? And please don't take pictures in front of a business, post it on your social media, and think you're helping a business. Unless you're Leo Messi, your picture will not make a difference. But I'll tell you what will make a difference. What will make a difference will be that you support laws that allow businesses to stay in business. After all, tax money does come from us, those that pay our taxes. So I feel that it's not okay for members of the council to ridiculize Mayor Amezcua because he's enforcing the laws. Thank you, Mayor Amezcua, for your support. And I ask the other members, when are you gonna support brick and mortar businesses? We're waiting. And do it before many of us go out of business like Chavitas did after 17 years of being in business. Thank you.
Next Zoom speaker, Carl Benninger.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm fortunately cannot be there tonight because of family efforts, but I also want to speak on behalf of the mayor. I've seen some posting. Mr. Diagala is out again, putting out his various misinformation. And it shows a trash can, and he refers to it as this is the only thing the mayor has done. Well, he is misinformed, as he was when he talked in front of council. And he doesn't realize the organization that, Valerie, you've brought to the city. Your efforts on First Street is greatly appreciated. What you're doing for the neighborhoods is greatly appreciated. Getting us back talking again and talking about our problems and listening to us. And it's greatly appreciated. And it's unfair to you and a shame that there are certain people that want to close their eyes. Of course, when you're anarchists, you don't want organization. You don't want things to run smoothly. You want to create chaos. And that's what I feel some of the people on council want also, which is sad. Let's get order back in the city and let's proceed. And Mayor, you're doing a great job and we appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. All right, we're going to now call speakers that are present, please. I believe I'm going to start with the two children that have been here before. And if I'm incorrect, I apologize. Jaden Verdin and Jade Verdin. Did I say that right? I was asked to not have the children wait, so I want to make sure that we do that.
My name is pronounced Jadelyn Verdin.
I'm sorry?
My name is pronounced Jadelyn Verdin.
Jaden, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Jadelyn Verdin. I am 12 years old. I've been a Santa Ana resident almost my whole life. I think that the POA shouldn't control our city. And I also want to know, where is my apology, Mayor? You known us since we were little, but you were so quick to go posting on social media about me, my sister, and my mom. And just because my sister talks about her trauma, that's just unfair. Literally, people from POW make them go say their own words. But thank you.
Comments. JD Verdin, please. I'm sorry? Okay. Maria Alejandra Barbosa.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es María Alejandra Barbosa. Vine hace 2 semanas por el presupuesto de la ciudad y nos fuimos como a las 12, bien tarde, de noche. esperando el turno para hablar y para después tener que levantarse temprano para ir a trabajar. Así que voy a repetir mi pedido. Vengo representando al grupo miembro de Esperanza Unión de Inquilinos. Ir a la corte con la dinámica de poder entre propietarios representados por un buen abogado y un inquilino defendiendo sus derechos solo con su voz, atenta contra la equidad. Han aumentado los desalojos de forma indiscriminada. Por esta razón solicitamos que se dedique un fondo a la representación de inquilinos para que ambos comparezcan en igualdad de condiciones. De esta manera honraremos la democracia, cuya base es la justicia impartida con equidad. Defender al inquilino es cuidar la salud mental de la familia. Tener un techo es un derecho y perder la vivienda sería, entre otras muchas cosas, ir en contra del derecho internacional del niño a tener un techo seguro. Parte de su labor es que cada familia tenga un techo seguro. Hagámoslo realidad. Gracias.
Gracias. Juliana Mushaeve.
Good evening. My name is Maria Alejandra Barbosa. I was here 2 weeks ago speaking about the budget. We stayed until past midnight. It was very late, waiting to our turn to speak. And I'm here to ask you about this. And I'm going to repeat what I said. Oh, because we have to work early the next day. I'm here to repeat what I said, my petition. I'm here representing the tenants group, the tenants union, and I'm here to. It's talking about when you go to court and the landlords are represented by lawyers and the tenants are represented by only their own voice. This is not equity, and we are asking that you designate some monies for tenant representation so that we have equality of conditions. This is just justice, and we need to have some defense for tenants. When you have defense for tenants, this creates and gives people mental health, and when people do not have a roof over their head, that goes against international laws for children.
Thank you. John Hanna, please. Followed by Boris. Okay. John's not here. All right, Boris, you only get 2 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. Unfortunately, John Hanna had a flight to catch, so he can no longer be here at this time, but I am here. First off, thank you very much to staff. Staff has done a great job working with us. I'm with the Carpenters Contractors Cooperation Committee, representing carpenters and union contractors. We've submitted a letter to staff and to the City Council regarding some of the recommended actions that we hope the City Council will take. We're very happy to see this being passed, hopefully or eventually via ordinance. We believe that's the correct approach. But again, we do believe that there's certain parcels that we hope would be removed from the exempt list. And we also hope that there would be a land use map created to identify the alternative sites that staff is proposing. So again, thank you very much. It's been great working with staff, and we hope that you would take into consideration our recommendations. Thanks.
Thank you, Boris. Jana?
Hi, my name is Jana, and I'm here to speak about Assembly Bill 2011 and Senate Bill 6. So I read through the staff report justifying Santa Ana's exemption to these bills. I also read the correspondence received that details how the city staff report was both misleading and inaccurate in the calculation of its numbers. But that's not the point I want to make. The point I want to make is that the betterment of your residents' lives should be your highest priority. Where would this city be without its residents, its workers, its families who are the source of the city's wealth, but still struggle to survive in a world where prices everywhere have risen, but wages have not? These bills create much, much needed affordable housing. I don't need to present statistics, just look outside. The increasing homelessness, like this should not be normal. We should be horrified by this. How many people are living in the streets simply because they cannot afford $1,800 a month in rent? Things like rent control, which council members have approved and are now under fire for, should be seen as a good thing. Things like abundant affordable housing should be seen as a good thing. Things like fair wages, which these bills include for the workers, should be seen as a good thing. I urge council to keep the working class families of Santa Ana at the forefront and accept the responsibility of enacting AB 2011 and SB 6. Thank you.
Thank you. Dale Halvick.
Dale Helvig, Ward 3. Good evening, Mayor, council members, city staff. I would like to thank the mayor and the council for all the hard work they're doing for community outreach and the work they're doing to improve public health and safety. I think the parks is a big factor in how people feel. I've seen a lot of people in the parks every time I'm driving around the city, all times of the day, so it's great. I support item 32 and 32 alpha. It's not an issue about if Santa Ana should provide additional housing. It's about following the general plan to determine where that housing should be built. Santa Ana has been a leader in addressing new housing and should have the opportunity to be a leader again by identifying where and what it needs to build to meet the housing requirements. The City of Orange Councilwoman Ariana Barrios said it feels like their city is being held hostage during the housing cycle. I think most cities in the state feel that way. She goes on to say, and I quote, "We're being put in the path of some developers who are unsavory in their tactics," and I think that's true again throughout the cities. Approving the resolution will help control some of these developers because right now, if they're allowed to build in accordance with AB 2011, they don't have to worry about setback requirements. They don't have to worry about parking requirements except for handicap. And if we think we have a parking issue now, wait until that goes into effect if it does. Sound local public policy should not be made at the state level, especially when a city is following all the rules like Santa Ana. Please retain local control of this resolution. And pass this resolution. On a side note for rent control, I think all residents received this notice of the pass-through commodity increase. It's 9%. So with rent control, we limit it at 3%. So we're going to squeeze out these mom and pop shops if we continue to approve things higher than rent control numbers. So, thank you.
Thank you. John Ramirez.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, city staff, police, fire personnel present tonight. My name is John Ramirez, and I'm a resident of Ward 2, and I've lived in Santa Ana my whole life. I'm talking tonight regarding agenda item 31. I see the recommended actions on this item, and I honestly wish there was a fourth action where the city demanded the school district pay half the cost of the crossing guard program. Not sure which direction the council will take on this item. Maybe approve action item 3. But I like the idea of the city finding a way to make the school district reimburse the city for services they provide to the school district, whether it's through calls for service via the Santa Ana Police Department or other instances. But it is my sincere hope the taxpaying residents of our city and our parents of students in SAUSD will demand that the school board will be a true community partner with the city and share the costs when it's needed, especially when it comes to student safety. And I also wanted to thank you, Mayor, for doing a good job so far as mayor. When you first came on, the first thing I heard from residents was that you actually listened to them, and I like one of the things I like about you is you're always doing a lot of community outreach. I look on my Facebook, and it seems like every week it's coffee with the mayor, go for a walk with the mayor, or the mayor's at the fire department doing something, and I just always see you out there with the community and getting their input. And I hear from people online that message me or in person, they're saying, this is a mayor that actually listens to us, and I just want you to know we appreciate it. You're doing a good job, and I know that'll continue. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, City Council, and staff, and police and fire personnel present tonight. You all have a good night and stay safe.
Mario Alvarado.
Mayor and City Council, just want to say that I was born and raised in Santa Ana. I went to school in Santa Ana. I volunteered in Santa Ana. I was part of the Santa Ana Youth Program in Santa Ana. I served on commissions. I serve on a commission in Santa Ana. I work for Parks and Rec. I work for Community Services. I work for the Treasury Division in Santa Ana. Half of the people that were out here for Parks and Rec were my colleagues at some point. Went to school in Santa Ana, graduated from college, local college, and now here a small business owner in Santa Ana. So I am the consequential, resident in Santa Ana, and I'm here today just to show and mention appreciation for the leadership on this diocese, from people that are grassroots, and leaders that are been tied to education, leaders up here that show executive presence, and then you spearheading it all. The passion that you bring just makes everybody here in Santa Ana have just a smile, which you can't say. And see, David wasn't here when I was giving out the compliments, so you must. So just coming in today, leaving my house with the newborn, and just to show appreciation to everybody up here, especially you, Mayor, who understands what drawing a line in the sand means, and some people get it, some people don't. And just mentioning, not wanting to leave on a negative notice, but useless pop shots on social media by people, by other organizations, by other agencies that have nowhere and being, having dignity here. So thank you so much for everything that you do.
Juliana. Sorry, Juliana, I called you earlier.
It's okay. Hi, my name is Juliana. I'm a resident of Santa Ana. I wanted to speak on AB 2011 and Resolution 32. I wanted to speak against the resolution to exempt parcels of land. Me being a resident of Santa Ana, I think about the type of city I want to live in. And the type of city I want to live in is that where people can live and work in the same neighborhood, where they don't have to travel to a different part of town or even a different city in order to, go home and then come to work. Mixed-use housing is a huge, major solution to the housing crisis. I think that Santa Ana is a very progressive city. I'm very proud of the residents who voted for rent control. Thank you. I live in a rent-controlled building. Thank you for letting me stay there and not have to move. And I think that this is yet another step in the right direction for providing opportunities for affordable housing, and also for the people working on this housing, the construction workers, to have a living wage, to have health benefits. I see the members of the union here. I stand with them in their effort to, yes. So all in all, I think this would be a great step for Santa Ana, and I urge everybody to welcome this with this state law with open arms, because it's exciting, it's a solution, it's innovative, and we need it here. So thank you.
Thank you. Danny Vega. Danny Vega, please.
Hello, Mayor and City Council. My name is Yanni Vega, resident of Ward 3. I am Vice President of the Casa de Santiago Neighborhood Association. And our president, Joanna Peterson, couldn't be here, but she asked that I speak on her behalf. We simply wanted to express our gratitude to Mayor Amezcua and all the hard work that she has put in the last 6 months. And I thank you, my family thank you. Thank you for making yourself available to talk to anyone, regardless of their political ideologies. People forget that these seats are nonpartisan, yet certain council members are quick to run to get that powerful Democrats endorsement. Is everybody a Democrat in Santa Ana? special interest. Thank you for organizing monthly meetings with neighborhood leaders and addressing our concerns. Thank you for still believing in the rule of law and standing up against the illegal street vendors. Thank you for putting public safety first and for pledging to address police misconduct, which is why you were quick to appoint the most qualified person to serve on the Police Oversight Commission, because you recognize how important this is for residents. And now I speak for myself. Thank you again for holding the mayor's prayer breakfast and acknowledging the faith-based community and how important faith still is for a lot of Santa Ana residents. We too exist. Lastly, how does that saying goes? Con la vara que mides serás medido, or in other words, with the rod you measure, you will be measured. Folks who insist on measuring you by that rod conveniently forget to measure their own leaders by the same rod, school board. And if they did, they'd find that they would fall well below their own standards. Mayor, pay no attention to the naysayers. You're doing a fantastic job. Thank you.
Natalie Gillespie.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor. Legaspi. It's been said every single way you can possibly think of. Tonight, believe it or not, I'm here to talk about Saturday, what an amazing day it was for Juneteenth, and thank all of you very, very much. It's an example of what our city is like when we open our arms. There was no problems, it was just a whole bunch of love. And seeing those of you who were able to attend, it was really good seeing you. It was just nothing but good times. Even though my sister had to wait for a while to get her food, it was worth it because the food was good. And everybody that was there was just so friendly, and we got to talk and hang out. It was like a family reunion. So I want to say thank you to Parks and Recreation, because without them, it wouldn't have happened. The community comes out and supports it because the staff is amazing. And they just constantly impress me. And ultimately, y'all support the efforts that we put in to have community events. So thank you to you two for supporting it. That's what I'm here about, good stuff. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Good night.
Thank you. Mia Verdon.
Before I begin, can I please have 3 minutes? Is that allowed?
No, I'm sorry, you can only have 2.
Got it. Okay. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Mia Verdin, and I'm back again to bring forth an issue that is very dear to me. As a Ward 3 resident, my family and I have been nothing but upset and frustrated by the sheer amount of canvassers coming to our doors every weekend at 8 in the morning to spread nothing but lies about Mayor Pro Tem Lopez. This attempt to recall Mayor Pro Tem Lopez has been nothing short of harmful, not only to the community of Ward 3, but all of Santa Ana. Mayor Mescua, you've done so much good in the past as your tenure as school board president. You once advocated for the implementation of ethnic studies in our schools, which I personally have benefited from, and I'm continuing to pursue in my journey of higher education. You've brought restorative justice practices to help our kids in need. You have shown that you are capable of creating change and standing up for what is right. As a young woman in Santa Ana who deeply cares about this community, I would like to find these positive role models that I can look to and aspire to be like. You and Mayor Pro Tem Lopez are 2 of 3 women on this council. Women standing up for other women must be a value that should be kept strong on the dais. Over your last 6 months in office, you have shown that you show up for other women in local politics outside of Santa Ana. You've captioned Facebook posts with hashtag women supporting women, but where is that sentiment when one of your very own colleagues on the dais is being attacked? Mayor Mescua, I ask you deeply to think about what I'm about to say. I'm not trying to diminish your accomplishments as our city's first woman mayor. In fact, I commend you for breaking that glass ceiling. Please believe me when I say that I'm not praying on your downfall. I would genuinely really like to see you thrive and do what is right for our community. But I want to ask, will you be Santa Ana's first woman mayor to stand up stand up for what is right in the face of injustice? Or will you be the mayor who turns a blind eye when another woman is in need and give in to special interests and Jerry Serrano? You already know that this isn't the first time a woman on this council has been bullied off the dais. Jessie Lopez is being targeted just because she stood up to the POA. If you decide not to speak up, this will be a stain on your legacy as mayor. Will you continue to allow the history of women on this council being bullied off the dais? Don't you want to show the women in this city that we can stand up for each other? Ultimately, it is up to you and only you to set that precedent for your term as mayor.
Fernando Delgado.
Minutes again. I'm here once again to speak out against Jerry Serrano and the Police Officers Association desperate attempt to take over our city council. And for anyone here listening, in case you don't know what's been going on, allow me to fill you in. First off, they always cut it down to 2 minutes whenever we talk about this, and y'all knew we were coming to talk about this. Last week, the POA submitted their petition signatures to launch a recall campaign to remove Mayor Pro Tem Jesse Lopez. They collected these signatures by spending over $275,000 of their association members' dollars paying canvassers to spread lies about Lopez. Anyone who's paying attention, including the people who spoke on your behalf, Mayor, know that this recall really has nothing to do with Mayor Pro Tem Lopez or her record. This is about the greedy and corrupt police union president, Jerry Serrano, and the POA trying to get their way no matter what the cost. They did it to Cecilia Iglesias in 2020, and they think they can get away with it again. So why is Jerry doing this? Well, again, for anyone who wasn't aware, the POA wanted a $25 million increase in the police department budget that the city cannot afford. He also wants to continue to get his $130,000 sergeant salary, but wants to be relieved of his police duties so that he can spend all his time lobbying as police union president. Most importantly, he wants to remove Mayor Pro Tem Lopez so that he can replace her with somebody who he can influence with his donation dollars, and then that way they won't hold him and his officers accountable. Let me remind you, this is a man who was caught drunk driving in Garden Grove and got away with it. This is someone who tried and failed to sue the city because they refused to spike his pension, and he threatened to burn the city down because of it. This is someone who is actively trying to get rid of the city manager and the police chief because they don't tolerate his nonsense. Anyone who's paying attention, again, knows that this is no good for our city. Not only the $500,000 cost to taxpayers, but it's going to send a message to voters that their council can be bought. Mayor Mesqua, Councilmember Phil Becerra, Councilmember David Peñalosa, you are the only 3 members who have yet to speak out against the recall. You also happen to be the only members who received donations from the POA. David and Phil, you got over $90,000. Mayor Mesqua, you got over $200,000. When you don't speak out about this, what message does it send to the voters? It sends that you guys are not accountable to them. You're accountable to your donors. So, mind you, this is not a judgment. This is not an attack. This is a call to action. Are you going to stand up for the residents in your city, or are you going to serve your donors? Thank you.
Thank you. Gerson Cortez. Gerson Cortez. Madison Romero.
Hola, buenas tardes. Muy buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Miguel Vázquez. Soy presidente y fundador de una organización para mujeres y queremos felicitar por tener a la primer mayor aquí en la ciudad de Santa Ana, y es una mujer. Y ahora sí que esta es la misión de mi organización Grupo Versace, seguir empoderando a las mujeres. Y quiero agradecer a Peñalosa porque nos ha dado oportunidad para tener algunos programas, y felicitarlos a cada uno de ustedes por estar aquí, ¿verdad? Y quiero presentar a Carla y a Madison, que son mujeres que soy encargado de empoderarme aquí en la ciudad de Santa Ana, y cómo lo voy a lograr con más programas. Gracias.
Gracias. Carla and Madison, you can both speak as well.
Okay.
Gracias.
Hola, buenas noches. Mi nombre es Carla Rosales. Soy Miss Versace 2022. Y primero que nada, les quiero dar las gracias a todos ustedes por permitirme estar aquí esta noche. Y felicidades a la señora Mayor por ser la primera mujer que obtiene este título. Y igual que usted, muchas de nosotras de la academia tenemos sueños de ser alguien importante en la vida. Así sea ser la primera mujer mayor de una ciudad, o simplemente ser la primera, first generation student en nuestra familia, igual que yo. Yo he logrado ser la primera generation student de universidad de mi familia gracias a la academia de Grupo Versace, porque gracias a esta academia me ha empoderado, porque no solo somos un grupo de modelaje, sino un grupo de empoderamiento que nos abre las puertas a cumplir nuestros sueños, y que tenemos clases que nos suben nuestra autoestima. Somos alrededor de 30 jóvenes y 30 señoras que nos unimos cada domingo en un local de Zumba, y le quiero pedir de su apoyo a que nos ayuden a tener un local para nuestras prácticas permanentes, a donde podamos practicar y tener clases que nos ayuden a, como dije, cumplir nuestros sueños. Muchas gracias.
Good evening, Mayor Mescua and council members of Santa Ana. My name is Madison Romero, and like Carla and Miguel, I come from the organization Grupo Versage. We are a group of more than 40 girls, ranging from the ages 4 to 19. Although I live in Anaheim, Santa Ana is my second home, and because it is my second home, I like to get as many girls involved in this wonderful group. This group is built predominantly of Latino girls and young women. We are very active in the community here in Santa Ana, and we'd like to break that cycle of generational trauma and get our girls to accomplish their dreams. Our ultimate goal is to instill values and respect into these girls. Thank you for your continuous support, and we hope to hear from you soon. Gracias.
Thank you. Teresa Knoll?
Mayor, is there a translation?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, good evening. My name is Miguel Vasquez, and I am the president of a women's organization, Grupo Versage, a group to empower women. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the first woman mayor of Santa Ana, and our organization, Grupo Versage, empowers women and young women. I'd like to thank Mr. Peñalosa for supporting us in getting our programs, and we'd like to congratulate here Carla and Madison, who will be speaking. And Carla, my name is Carla, and I'm Miss Versage 2022. And thank you for allowing us to be here. First of all, congratulations on being the first woman mayor. In Grupo Versage, we are allowed and encouraged to follow our dreams, and we want to follow someone like you to have dreams that are important for our lives, such as being the first woman mayor or the first generation, first college attending, college going in our families, which is my case. So thank you. Thanks to Grupo Versage, we are empowering to open our doors, to open our dreams and follow our dreams. And we have self-esteem classes. We have groups of 20 young people and 20 ladies. We are meeting right now in a Zumba locale, and we would like to support for getting our own place.
Thank you. Sue Pollitt, please. Followed by Ray Diaz.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and city manager. I think you know why I'm here tonight. I'm going to make this really brief because I'm here to advocate for Sean, who's at the Carnegie shelter. And I have sent you emails in today. I just thought, okay, getting up at 4 o'clock, and I said, I'm running over here no matter what, and I'm going to advocate for him. Because I know you know what it's about. Other council members might not know about it at this point, but you know what the situation is. He's going broke over there because the OCTA has not reinstated yet the COVID schedule, which I'm working with them on that, and we're looking at solutions. We've also, many of us throughout the community and in official businesses have talked about having an Uber pass for those that are working at the Carnegie shelter. And I will tell you, it's been close to $2,000 that he has spent in order to get home from work, or get from work at 11 o'clock to the shelter, and he has to do this by permission, and he takes an Uber. And it's over $100 a week just one way. So it's getting to the point where, you know, Sean has given me permission to talk about this with you, and I have a solution. And maybe you might not like it, but until something happens with the OCTA bus system, these people who have jobs are having a hard time getting in and out of the shelter and being able to get to work. And now it's getting down to the point where he may lose his job because he can't not afford this cost anymore. And we've talked about Uber passes, but I came up with a solution today. And that is, Sean could submit his weekly receipts that he gets from Uber, and it could be written up as an expense report to be reimbursed by the city until this is resolved. Because otherwise, he's going to lose his job. He's not going to be able to have the money to be able to go
Ma'am, I'm
to
sorry,
get
your
home.
time is up.
So that's what I'm here to talk to you about, and you know what the issue is.
Ma'am, your time is
and
up.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Ray Diaz.
go ahead and ready to get started. So good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the council. My name is Ray Diaz, and I have been a proud Santanero for the majority of my life. I come tonight to speak in support of our community champion, Jesse Lopez, who is also serving as our mayor pro tem. This recall in Santana, which came about after a majority of Santa Ana City Council members rejected the POA's $25 million pay proposal, is corrupt and is a clear attempt to undermine democracy. Now, the words e pluribus unum are inscribed in this council's chamber. The fundamental belief that begins with the genuine compassion and love that keeps this city moving. We are the heart of Orange County, a county seat that is bold enough to take on special interests who seek to divide us. The goal should always be to represent the best interest of all Santa Ana residents, not just a few. Not just a few. And if there's a young person in Santa Ana who doesn't have access to parks, who doesn't have access to a library, that matters to me. That matters to me because that is what the definition of community looks like. It means looking out for one another, even when times are hard and when stuff hits the fan. It is that compassion and love that calls on all of us to hold those in positions of political power accountable. Jerry Serrano embodies and embraces the politics of anything goes. He uses political connections to sweep a DUI charge under the rug. He removes political opponents who challenge his authority, pushing meritless legal claims that cost the city thousands of dollars. This is a clear attempt to undermine democracy. If nothing else, this moment will be a stain on this city's history and on your legacy, Madam Mayor. And just as many who have spoken today, I truly do wish the best for you and this city, because that is what is truly the intent of our issue here, is to truly see every student, every young person, every person in the city of Santa Ana to have the same opportunities and the same access to opportunity. And that starts with holding those in political power accountable.
Thank you. Irma Hadiguin,
Thank you.
please.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council. Pleasure to see everybody, City Manager. I came first and foremost to say thank you. When you and I met, Madam Mayor, the first thing I thought, I talked to you, is I looked to the person, heart and mind and value of the city. Being a woman, thank you so much, but more than anything, you are keeping your word. I am so proud of you. I even get emotional. Our mission, the mission statement that's on the agenda, every year, every day that I see it, it says, to deliver efficient public service in partnership to the community, ensures public safety, a prosperous economic environment, opportunity for youth, and a high quality of life for residents. You are really striving to do that. You did the walk on Wilshire Square, you meet coffee with everybody. Our council members work on that. And I know that although our residents are trying to build their little enterprise businesses, a guidance of keeping our brick and mortar businesses and employment is paramount for the health of the whole city. So thank you for thinking in the bigger picture. A suggestion would be to have workshops for those who do want to start their little businesses with health and public safety and accounting to teach them how to do it right. And first and foremost, our residents, not outsiders. Second point, please support I support item 32. I won't repeat what Dale said, but I totally agree with that because the well-being of our city is very important. I am a financial planner and a realtor of 32 years, and I understand that if the whole infrastructure is not planned properly, with parking and spaces for people and schools, the whole thing will fall on it, lend itself to bad design. So thanks again. And for Parks and Rec, 2525, a bigger park, a place for community. That North Main, thank you.
Martha Rivera, followed by Ana Laura Padilla. I'm sorry, Commissioner, I've been told to say Commissioner Martha Padilla.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Amezcua, council members, and community. My name is Marta Rivera, and I am here today because I want to elevate and celebrate the work of Mayor Amezcua in Santana. I first had the pleasure of meeting Mayor Amezcua when she served as board president for Santa Ana Unified in 2018. As the founding leader and visionary behind family engagement in the wellness centers, Mayor Amezcua was fearless in her support of what she knew was not only good practice, but a practice that could be transformational in our school district. She was and is a visionary who works with her community by building meaningful relationships. This fearlessness served her well not only during her time at SAUSD, but I see it today in her role as mayor. Mayor Amezcua continues to be dedicated to doing with the community, not for the community. One of the most commendable aspects of her tenure thus far as mayor has been her relentless efforts to ensure that all voices are heard and represented. She listens deeply. For example, she makes herself available to community members by hosting the walks and remaining engaged with her community. Mayor Amezcua, your dedication to improving the lives of the people you serve has truly made a remarkable difference. Your heart remains grounded in the commitment of service to others. We are fortunate to have a mayor like you who not only dreams of a better future, but actively works towards making that dream a reality. Thank you for remaining steadfast in your commitment to our community and the future of this beautiful city. You make me proud to be a resident of the city. Thank you.
Ana Laura Padilla.
Good afternoon, Mayor Amezcua and members of the council and community. My name is Ana Laura Padilla and I'm a resident of Ward 3. I changed my speech so many times, but I'm just going to stay to the one that I did this afternoon before I knew some new things. I'm a proud resident and I'm here because I wanted to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude for you, Mayor Amezcua. You have done so much for our community. Your tireless dedication and genuine commitment in the well-being for our residents have made a lasting impact of all of us. I am incredibly fortunate to serve as your appointed commissioner. In this role, I have witnessed firsthand the extraordinary lengths you go to ensure our voices are heard. Your willingness to lend a listening ear, your unwavering support, and your meticulous follow-up on matters affecting our community is remarkable. You have consistently demonstrated that you are not just a leader, but a compassionate advocate for every individual within our diverse tapestry. Your guidance and mentorship have played an instrumental role in my growth and understanding the issues of our community faces. Through your encouragement, I have been empowered to learn more and how to become more active and involved in addressing all these challenges. Mayor Amezcua, words cannot adequately convey my appreciation for the transformative work that you continue to do for our community. Please know that your selfless dedication and remarkable service have not gone unnoticed. Thank you.
Celica Diaz.
They already said everything I was going to say. Well, good evening.
Talk about David. He said talk about him.
My name is Celica Diaz. I live in the Pacific Park neighborhood, Ward 2. And I'm actually here today because I want to thank city staff and police and yourself for doing the neighborhood, mayor's neighborhood walks. And what I truly appreciate is that you take the time to speak to the residents. Residents feel more comfortable approaching city staff and police and addressing some of the issues that they currently face in their neighborhoods. Also, the businesses truly appreciated that you took the time to go out there and show their support and finding ways of how they can improve their business. I also want to thank, excuse me, Parks and Recs and library staff, Parks and Rec staff and the whole library staff for keeping our youth busy throughout the summer. I truly appreciate all the programs at the library and also, at the parks, the movies. And what I really like is what they have, all their new equipment with the exercises and the hula hoops, even though I can't do it, but that's really fun, seeing people trying to do it and not being able to do it. And so also, what I want to ask you, please don't forget to reopen the digital library at the Roosevelt Walker Community Center. It's already there. Just, please allocate a little bit of funding and let's reopen it. And also, perhaps maybe a little bit of extra more funding and we can have a teen time space at the Roosevelt Walker Community Center. That would be great. And I know we're getting 2 splash pads, but can we get a couple more, like maybe 2 more? Would be great. Okay? Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Jeanette Sanchez.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members. I would like to thank Mayor Amezcua for all her hard work since she stepped into office. I'm kind of a person that's really hard to impress, but I've been really impressed by your work. I go on Instagram and you're here and you're there. And that's what it's all about. How can you guys know what the community wants if you don't engage with the community? You guys are supposed to do your job and listen to the community and not be on your personal agenda. That's just my personal opinion. I'm here to express another issue in the downtown, just briefly. On Broadway, it's closed from 3rd Street to 5th Street. I don't know what's going on there, but you know, they only work for a couple of hours and it's closed, and that's driving away customers. As it is, we've already been affected by the OC streetcar construction. And there's another event this weekend. We do not want any more street closures. We said that time and time again. And just a couple of merchants are coming out and saying we did not sign for this. So, you know, that's just another concern of ours. And thank you, Mayor, for your hard work. Have a good night.
Araceli Casales.
Okay, voy a hablar en inglés y en español, okay? My name is Araceli, and I'm here in representation of Toyama and as a community leader for more than 40 years. Since I came to Santa Ana, I love Santa Ana. I try to help the community, and I always come with people who was behind me. I can say I know very well Mr. Peñalosa. I know very well our mayor, Valeria Amezcua, and Jonathan. And it's a pleasure for me to be here and say thank you, Valerie, because anything that you promise, I can see it. I am a witness, you know. I love the programs that you are doing right now with the fire department, police department, because that allowed us to know more, you know, how hard they work to recognize the people, and you open the doors for us in case we have any questions. As a mayor, you are a great person. As a person, you are better because I know you for many years that you were helping me with Toyama, with the kids when they have a problems. I always remember you come at 12 o'clock at night, at midnight, 1 o'clock, just helping me with the youth. It's very important that, as somebody says, that you know the community, okay? That when you call your city council, they come and see us. We just want to say thank you, and I promise you I will continue helping the community because I know I can count with your support. Thank you very much, and I cannot say something like I'm very, very proud that you are in this place because I know we are gonna see the changes. Okay, I know a lot of people are happy, but we cannot have everybody happy, you know, but I know you are in action, you are working with the business, with the community, with the district, even though you are not there anymore, you care about our kids, about the safe, and I just want to say thank you very much on behalf of these parents who are here with me, you know, just to say thank you for all the support you are giving to the youth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. At this time, we're going to go to the consent calendar items. Numbered 5 through 30 are before us. Council members, if you'd like to pull an item, we're going to pull items and abstain. So let me go through this. And if you don't mind, I'd like to, I think the carpenter's left. So, okay, let's do any items pulled, please. Let me start with Councilman Hernandez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would just like to make a brief comment on item 8. I am supportive of this item. I just wanted to say thank you to our Parks and Rec Director, Hawk Scott, for putting this item on the agenda. This allows us to maintain our Santa Ana Zoo while also bringing in a variety of different animals. So I know families and children are going to love this item. Thank you, Director Hawk Scott, for putting this on the agenda.
That's your comment already? Oh, okay. All right, let's pull the items first. Councilman Becerra?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to pull items 15 and 23.
Thank you. Councilmember Fan?
I'd also like to make a comment on item 8 and then recuse myself from item 19 and 21. as the cities of Anaheim and Irvine, as well as Dyer 18 LLC, are clients of my employer, Lieutenant Tucker. So if they are pulled, I will leave the room while it's discussed. Thank you.
Thank you, and you're just going to make a comment on 8. Councilman Vasquez, please.
Nothing to pull.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez?
Nothing to pull, but I did want to register a no on item 25 for the last list and final.
You want to register a no on 25?
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Penalosa?
Thank you, Mayor Amesqua. Just a quick comment on item 8.
Perfect. All right. With that, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to move the calendar.
I'll second.
Okay.
With the comments and items 15, 23 pulled,
And then I am a no on item 25, Madam Mayor.
you're a no on 25.
That is correct.
Okay.
I'll be a no on 25 as well.
Okay, Claudio Gallegos.
Mayor.
I'm sorry, there's a
Sorry.
second. Did we do a
Yes,
second?
who was the second, please?
Is there a
Councilmember
second?
Penaloza?
I'll second.
Yeah. Mayor second.
Mayor second?
Moved by
To
Councilman
move the
Hernandez, and I second, and let's prepare to vote. And then we'll bring up Claudio Gallegos. Is he still here? Yes.
Yes. So a motion by Councilmember Hernandez, seconded by Mayor Amesqua, to approve the consent calendar with noted no votes on item number 25 by Councilmembers Vasquez, Hernandez, Mayor Pro Tem Lopez, noted recusal by Councilmember Fan on items 19 and 21, and items 15 and 23 pulled for separate discussion, and brief comments on item number 8.
That is correct. This time, if we can have Claudio Gallegos come up, congratulations.
If everyone could please cast their votes, Mayor.
He's not a commissioner yet. We got to vote.
Oh, we voted?
You still need to cast your votes.
Claudia, you got to sit down until
Hold
we
on,
vote.
Claudio, we have to vote. I apologize.
I'd like to pull this item from the agenda.
I just assumed they were going to say yes, Claudio. My apologies. Let's prepare to vote. All right, let's vote, please. Did you guys, I don't know if mine's working here. Is your all working? Mine's not working.
Okay, Mayor, if you'd like to voice your
I'm
vote.
a yes vote.
Yes vote.
Maybe we'll let Claudio up.
The vote is 7 ayes, no nays. Consent calendar items are approved unanimously with the exception of item number 25 on a 4-3 vote, and the pulled items for separate consideration.
Thank you so much. Claudio Gallegos, come on up. Community Development Commissioner.
I, Claudio William Gallegos, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, that I will well, faithfully, and discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Thank you.
Congratulations, Claudio. Okay, at this time, we're going to go to item 8 for comments from Councilmember Tai. I think Councilmember Hernandez already gave his comments.
So, to do the proclamation for Parks and Rec. Director, do you send me notes that I forgot to look at? Look, I want to say, first of all, that, this was an item that when I first met with our city manager, she had brought up, that there was all this drama about having the 50 monkeys. And I'm just so thankful for our city manager, our director, Hawk Scott. Oh, Mr. Prentice is here. Ethan, oh my gosh.
Are you okay?
Guys.
You want Ethan to come up?
Yes, well, Ethan Fisher with the zoo. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that this is such an incredible win for our city and for our residents and for our children. You know, policy, or not policies, but regulations and standards change over time. And our parks and our community also has to change with it. And with that, it takes a long time and a lot of effort from our staff to really advocate for this. And so with that, I just want to congratulate everyone, congratulate our work, and I think there's going to be some comments from Director Scott, because he's making faces at me, regarding this item. So why don't you come up and make some comments with Ethan? Thank you.
Okay, well, hold on, because I have a comment.
Oh, sorry.
You can come up and still make faces at us, though. I think there's a Councilman Penna. Well, go ahead, I'll wait till you're done.
Thank you, Mayor Mesqua. Thank you, Director Scott and Executive Director Ethan Fisher, for all the work that you guys have been doing at the zoo. I know that one of my first meetings on here back in 2019, 18, with then Mayor Pulido, there was a conversation about the 50 monkeys that we had to have, and the need for having some insurance monkeys just in case one of the monkeys hit the dust. And making sure that this park would remain in a city asset. So thank you guys for your work. Thank you to the Prentice family and their work towards this. Looking forward to all the great things that are coming. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you both.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you both for your work. Ethan, we rarely get to interact with you, so it's nice to see you here. The public should know that you do the day in and day out work at the zoo. So thank you to you and to all of the staff that isn't here, and for making sure that we're not binded by that requirement anymore, because I think it'll allow us to really invest in the zoo and other animals and attract more people. So thank you for the work.
And now you want to spell?
Yeah. Thank you once again. I appreciate the work. As a kid, I visited the zoo many times, and we were just happy to go to. We called it Parque de los Changos back in the day. But we do appreciate the new stuff you're bringing in, and so happy. Many of my students, we go yearly to volunteer for Boo at the Zoo. So we do appreciate the zoo. Thank you so much for the work that you do.
Councilman Becerra, I'm assuming you want to speak as well.
Sure, why not? Well, first of all, thank you guys for all the work that you do. And what I really appreciate is, while many might ridicule the requirement that Dr. Prentice had, I appreciate the fact that you guys honored his legacy and you spoke to the family. So this isn't something that's being forced. This is something that just shows that you guys are willing to work with the family, and it's important because we wouldn't have had that zoo without that family. So thank you guys for doing that.
Okay, I'm going to just speak briefly, and then you can talk, okay, Hawk? So I just want to say thank you, because Ethan, I do go to the zoo, as you know. I was just there myself with Claudia. We were in the butterfly exhibit. And if you haven't gone to see the butterflies or spend time in there, take a cup of coffee and just go sit in there, and they'll fly on you and land on you. And just don't take Claudia with you, because she'll call them critters and scream or something. She's afraid of them. But I've never seen such beautiful, beautiful butterflies than in our zoo. The greens, the purples, the blacks, they're just so many. And I did post them on my social media, and I was able to talk to residents when I was there, and they were from all over. And so the work that you're doing at the zoo, and I know we're gonna have the otter exhibit soon, and I think we're having a city manager, a zoo bash or zoo brew.
Brew at
the zoo, but that's not city, it's not a city event. It's a fundraiser, so buy your ticket. So I guess you get to drink beer with the butterflies, I don't know. But I just want to thank you, and Hawk, thank you, because today and yesterday I got pictures from Santiago Park, which I'm going to go visit tomorrow with Claudia to go look at the park, because the family said, look at this park, thank you so much. And so, but the parks, the zoo, it is a gem that we need to talk more about, is the zoo, and get people to come from all over. And I'm having my coffee with the mayor at the zoo, and I'm really excited, and everybody I've told about it, I think all the police officers that were with me a couple weeks ago, they're like, we're gonna be there. So, but I'm really excited, and thank you for everything that you guys are doing. It's a beautiful place to visit. And thank you, Hawk, for you and your staff and the city manager's leadership with the Parks and Rec. So thank you. That's all I have. So now you can make your.
It's not that I want to make any faces. I mean, this is a huge accomplishment for the Santa Ana Zoo because, as you guys all know, the zoo is a staple not just for Santa Ana or Orange County, but Southern California. And that's why I wanted to bring up Ethan up here because he has spent over 20 years at the zoo. And again, I'm just coming up on 1 year, but this is one of the things we wanted to tackle as I first came in. So he'll give you a little bit more detail. And also, you guys are all invited this Friday. We are having a movie night at the zoo, and we are actually showing Zootopia out there. So it's the first thing we're doing with Parks and Recreation and the zoo, you know, a big thing together. And Ethan's gonna have some surprises out there. So if you guys, we want everyone listening, come out to the zoo starting at 5:30 on Friday. But I'm gonna turn it over to him because this is a huge milestone for Ethan and his team and all of us.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Council and the City Manager for your leadership. This is a incredible milestone for the zoo. Who would think so many years later, 71 years the zoo's been around, that we'd be looking at something like this, working with the family. They're very grateful for all the improvements that we've made in this facility. I think the zoo has grown into something that is much bigger and better than anyone ever imagined when it first opened. I mean, it was literally 4 cages with 50 monkeys, and that was it. No fence, no admission. There you go. So it is really a gem in the city. I'm really proud of our facility, our zoo, and talking to people that come and visit from Santa Ana, from beyond. We had students last week visiting from Hemet and Paris and West Covina and all over. So we really are drawing people in this whole region, providing an incredible opportunity for education and conservation. And it's just, if you're a Santa Ana resident and you can come just 5 minutes away and spend some time out of the city, it's an incredible experience. And I just want to thank you for all your support that you've lended over the years and continue.
I won't tell you how long I've been going to the zoo because I'm a little bit older than Councilman Vasquez. But I was there when you had the elephant ride. And some of us that grew up here in Santa Ana know about the elephant. I see Rudy shaking his head. Yes, we had, back there, I see Dale. Yeah, we had elephant ride. And I don't remember the cost. Of course, I didn't pay for it. But that's how long the zoo has grown. It just went around in little circles like you're talking about. But to me, it was the best thing in the world. So thank you. Thank you guys very much. Okay, we're going to go to item 15. Councilman Becerra.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Director Saba, I have a quick question on this item. So this is to award a construction contract to All American Asphalt for the Main Street rehabilitation. What I'd like to do is amend the recommended action to allocate any of the unspent funds. This is the unspent funds towards resurfacing of the nearby MacArthur Place segment. So with that, unless you see any issue with that, I'd like to go ahead and make that my motion.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
So move the item, but with an amendment to allocate any of the unspent funds to resurfacing the nearby MacArthur Place.
Yeah, no issues with that.
Perfect, thank you.
Any other comments by any of the council members? Can you tell me how much is unspent?
We don't know yet.
It's just if there are any.
If there are any is what
Correct.
you want. Okay. Is that your motion?
Yes.
Is there a second? I'll second. I'm sorry, you
Mayor,
had a
really
comment?
quick. Yeah, just a comment. Thank you, Director Saba, for this item. Do we know seeing that the work that we've been seeing along Main Street, that we've been in communication over the last week? Yes. I just want to remind thank you and your department, and thank our inspectors for being out there and inspecting the work that's being done by these contractors. Oftentimes it doesn't get inspected, and because under your leadership that is now getting done, and we're seeing the added conditions and improvements with these contractors that are getting these contracts. So just wanted to thank you for that and your team. You're welcome. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you, Nabil. There's a motion and a second. Let's vote, please.
A motion by Councilmember Becerra, seconded by Mayor Mesqua, to approve item 15 and as amended to allocate any unspent funds to resurfacing nearby MacArthur Place.
That is correct. I can't vote, so I'm a yes vote, just so you know.
Is the vote up for anyone else? No?
Can you all vote?
Mine says it's waiting.
Oh.
Okay.
You want to do a roll call, please?
Yes, thank you. Councilmember Becerra?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Fan?
Yes.
Councilmember Penaloza?
Yes.
Councilmember Vasquez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez?
No, and I have my request to speak on, so, but I don't
I can't,
know.
it doesn't show up here, just so you know.
Okay, I don't know what the amount is gonna be in return, and I would like, if there's any amount left over, to be put into priority projects. So I'll be a no, thank you.
Mayor Mesqua?
I'm sorry, yes.
Okay. Vote is 6 ayes, 1 nay. Nay by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez. Motion carries.
Okay, so I said it earlier, mine's not working, so if you want to speak, please raise your hand, don't speak out, but just raise your hand so I can see you, because I'm not ignoring anybody, it's not popping up. And then, Madam City Clerk, if we could just do roll calls instead of waiting, because
Sure,
it
no
keeps, I
problem.
think everybody's is waiting. So if we can just do roll call, please. If the council would allow me, I'd like to jump over to the business calendar, because I know we have some people here waiting. They have to get to work pretty early.
Mayor Mesqua.
Yes.
There's one last item on
I know,
consent.
but then we're going to have a discussion.
It should be super quick.
All right. You all heard that, Councilman. All right, item 23.
Famous last words, right? No, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just real quick on this item, this is the LAZ parking contract or agreement for parking enforcement. I just want to confirm. So with this item, there will be enforcement of permit parking districts. I see Assistant Chief Rodriguez.
Assistant Chief Rodriguez will answer that question.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, council members. The contract is initially based on the routes for street sweeping and then some supplemented in addition to some parking districts.
Okay, because what I want to make sure, in improving this, so I'm receiving complaints from folks in my ward who have permit parking districts in Washington Square and in Wilshire Square. They've gone through all the headache to get these permit parking districts, and then on a Friday night or Saturday night when one of the neighbors decides to throw a party, a bunch of folks come in with no permits, nobody's there to enforce. So that's why, in looking at this item, I just want to make sure that there's going to be allocated resources towards enforcing those times in those districts.
Those times or those hours, I'm assuming parties, maybe 1, 2 in the morning, those more likely will fall on the PD side, and that's more of a communication piece on our end to pick up the extra coverage, because this contract actually limits the hours that they work.
Okay, so we know then that PD then will be picking up the slack on that.
We would have to pick up the slack, yes.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And with that, I'll go ahead and move the item.
So I'll second it, but I have a question. So he brought up a very valid point. So if I live in I don't, but if I did live in an area where I'm having a party, I'm given permits, correct? Because I've been in neighborhoods where we're given permits for our guests. Because people want to have parties, Councilman Becerra. So you're not going to go around and at a certain time and give tickets after like 1 in the morning as long as they have a permit on their dash, correct?
No, they got to have a permit. We will not cite unless they have a permit.
But as long as they have a permit on their dash, if they're a guest, they will not be cited.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure. And then, Madam City Manager, the city's going through a traffic study, correct, right now regarding parking and things like that. So we may see some changes in a couple months, the next budget cycle, or just in a few months. Is that correct?
The estimated completion time of that parking study is...
Thank you, Assistant Chief.
I think it's a little farther out than a couple months.
It's a little farther than few months. We're anticipating it'll probably be 8 to 12 months.
For the parking study to be over?
Yes.
And then we'll make changes throughout the city? at
That's
that point?
correct. Well, it depends on the
Maybe.
recommendations and everything
Right.
that comes with that study. We do plan a work-study session coming soon to you to let you know of what the results are so far. what we have.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. You moved the item. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Penaloza. Can we do a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Mayor. Motion by Councilmember Becerra, seconded by Councilmember Penaloza to approve item 23 in agreement with LAZ Parking California LLC. Councilmember Becerra?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Penaloza?
Yes.
Councilmember Fan,
Yes.
Councilmember Vasquez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Mesqua.
Yes.
Vote of 7 ayes, no nays, motion carries.
Thank you. We're going to go to the business calendar, but we're going to go to item 32. Madam City Attorney?
This is the normal item that we have on
Yes.
the agenda?
32 and 32A. Is there anything you want to cover?
So we'll start with item 32, and we have our Executive Director of Planning that has a brief presentation for the City Council resolutions that are before you.
Perfect. Item 32 first, please. Thank you.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, and members of the City Council. The item for consideration tonight is the adoption of two resolutions exempting certain properties in the City of Santa Ana from Assembly Bill AB 2011 and Senate Bill 6 pursuant to California Government Code Sections 65912.114, 65912.124, and 65852.24. Tonight's presentation will lay out the background and the groundwork the city has put forth in place to support the city's development goals for the next 25 years and beyond. And I hope that after listening to tonight's presentation, there will be a common understanding and support for the city's process and the framework substantiating our decision to exercise the exemption as specified under the bills. I'm going to conflict with the city manager and apologize. The presentation won't be brief. I'll try to summarize where I can, but the issues are complex, and we have to provide technical information as well along with our presentation. There have been numerous housing bills signed into laws over the past 5 years with the goal of solving statewide housing shortages. Generally, these bills have limit local land use control, circumvent community review and comments, and compliance with local land use plan, as well as SEQA requirements. In summary, Assembly Bill 2011 and SB 6 allows by right residential development without public hearing in zones where office, retail, or parking are permitted, subject to meeting the various criteria of the bills, including affordability and wage and labor requirements. Both bills are scheduled to take effect July 1st, 2023, and will sunset on January 1st, 2033, unless extended. Both bills also provide and include specified provision that permits the local government agencies to exempt parcels from streamlined provision of the bills, subject to making certain findings. Under AB 2011, the findings require its jurisdiction to identify alternate parcels for residential development pursuant to the bill at residential density at or greater than that permitted by the bills, and would not result in a net loss of the total potential residential density in jurisdiction for affordable housing to low-income household and at the various density established for mixed-income projects, and finally will not result in affirmably furthering fair housing. For the SB 6, the finding would relate to the lost density of residential from each exempted parcel and find that it can be accommodated on sites or sites allowing for residential density at or above 30 dwelling units per acre in excess of the acreage required to accommodate the city's RENA. Santa Ana has been a leader and a model city for housing production in the region. During this past fifth cycle planning period, the city exceeded our state mandated regional housing allocation by 2,400%. Our leadership role continues when the City Council adopted the Comprehensive General Plan Update in April of 2022. The approval was a culmination of almost a decade of work and engagement with our community and an investment of over $5 million in the city's future. This community-driven document is a reflection of the vision of the community in respecting and preserving established neighborhoods, directing new growth to development areas of the city where growth can be accommodated and sustained. Under the plan, over 1,500 acres of land were designated in 5 focus areas and throughout the city and included over 770 acres, allowing residential density at or exceeding the various densities that have been established by the bills for development of affordable and mixed-income housing. The city's leadership role in creating high-density housing-friendly regulatory framework and support for pro-housing, pro-high-density mixed-use and transit-oriented development has been consistently sustained since 2007. With the adoption of the Metro East Mixed-Use Overlay District and followed by the Transit Zoning Code, as well as various mixed-use specific land development area like Main Place Mall and the Harbor Corridor. Our leadership in housing continue with the adoption and certification of the sixth cycle housing element in September of 2022. At that time, we were only one of 7 cities in the region to have a certified element. With only 18 months into this cycle, this 9-year cycle, our city has already met over 52% of its housing obligations, over 52% in 18 months. The city has already issued over 1,600 permits for new housing units in this cycle, including over 370 permit for very low and low-income household. The city's inclusionary zoning ordinance that has been in place since 2011 continues to produce inclusive affordable housing for city residents with provision for employing local skill and trained workforce. We have one of the most robust public engagement process under the Sunshine Ordinance, second to none in the region. The ordinance was again updated in May this year to expand early public participation and as well as throughout the decision-making process. The intent of the 2 bills is to allow the construction of new housing to address a statewide housing crisis. While the bills might be necessary in some cities and counties in California that resist adding new housing, they do not recognize the housing support of communities like Santa Ana and penalize our city by requiring additional housing density to be accommodated and impacting local economic development opportunities from the loss of prime commercial land to housing. As documented in the analysis and resolution, there is ample capacity on the alternative parcel to accommodate residential density above the baseline established by the bills. And as previously mentioned, the general plan update resulted in over 1,500 acres in the 5 focus area and over 770 acres allowing for the residential density exceeding the bills. The required findings for exempting the parcels have been made in the report following all the requirements of the bills. Moreover, this is not a ban on housing in the exempted parcels. Application for housing development may still be filed by adhering to the city's development review process of inclusionary requirements as well as our Sunshine Ordinance. So why is Santa exercising the exemption under the bills? Preserving the vision of the general plan, respecting established neighborhoods and growing responsibly, directing growth to where it can be accommodated, fostering inclusivity and transparency in our decision-making process, and maintaining consistency with our land use, economic development, and environmental justice goals. These are all core to upholding the commitments the council made to the community in adopting the general plan. We are also taking credit for our leadership in consistently supporting pro-housing, pro-high-density mixed-use transit-oriented development since 2007. Taking credit for consistently fostering pro-housing environment with an inclusionary housing ordinance in place in 2011. And finally, protecting our most vulnerable residents from housing insecurity by adopting a rent stabilization ordinance and just cause eviction in 2022. Throughout this process, our communication with HCD since May 16th, we have started to refine the recommendation to the City Council tonight to address the various comments and input received regarding the resolutions in front of you. In summary, the critical refinements from the May 16th to tonight can be summarized in 3 points. We have reduced the number of parcels the cities intend to exempt to those that are most critical to protect and preserve the vision of the recently adopted general plan and certified housing element. We have identified alternative parcels in the various focus and mixed-use code plan areas to accommodate the loss of density for the exempt parcels. And finally, we have designated alternative parcels to be eligible for ministerial review pursuant to the bills to meet the mandates of the bills. This table here illustrates the differences in the city exemption of parcel from the May 16th resolution to the current resolution, demonstrating a significant reduction in the number of parcels to be exempted under the bills, ranging from a reduction in 800 to over 1,300 parcels. While staff believe the city has addressed the various comments and concerns received to date, HCD outlined their comments in a letter received yesterday on June 19th, indicating, among other things, that the agency disagreed with the city's read on the law regarding to no net loss, and that we need to upzone the parcel beyond what the general plan already permits, even though the density of many sites have been increased by our general plan for up to 90 and 125 units to the acre, and also has surplus density to accommodate the exempt parcels. HCD's interpretation of the no net loss issue would punish proactive jurisdictions such as Santa Ana with recently updated general plan and recently certified housing element, while rewarding those that have done nothing to date in advancing housing goals. These two diagrams hopefully will assist in visualizing the city's and the HCD's read on no net loss under AB 2011. The top diagram is the city's interpretation, and the bottom diagram is HCD's. The city interprets the no net loss in density as applying to the remaining portion of the glass that is empty, representing a surplus capacity for absorbing the total capacity from the parcel that the city is exempting. The state, however, interprets no net loss in density as being anything over the glass, even though, as you can see, it is not at capacity and causing spillage outside of the glass. This is a map of the affordable qualifying parcel under AB 2011. It includes 502 parcels that total approximately 377 acres and can yield up to 11,295 affordable units based on AB 2011 prescribed densities. This map here is showing the alternative affordable parcels under this bill. And in total, these sites equal approximately 817 acres of land and have the potential to yield up to 46,860 units, a surplus of 25,441 units above AB 2011 density. Accordingly, the surplus units can and will absorb the 11,295 units from the exempt parcel in the prior map. This is a map of the mixed income qualifying parcel under the same bill and includes 304 parcels that total approximately 270 acres that can yield up to 17,664 units based on the bill's prescribed densities. This map here is showing the alternative mixed income parcels under the bill. In total, these sites equal approximately 803 acres of land and have the potential to yield up to 60,522 units, a surplus of 17,719 units above the base density, and can accommodate the 17,764 units from the exempted parcel in the prior map. SB 6. Lastly, these are qualifying parcel under SB 6. There are 594 parcel and they total approximately 384 acres of land and can yield up to 11,515 units based on density in the SB 6 prescribed density. This is the alternate parcel site. These sites equals up to 813 acres of land and have the potential to yield up to 45,031 units, a surplus of 20,635 units above the base density, and can accommodate the lost density of 11,515 units from the exempt parcel. Additionally, these parcels are in excess of the acreage required to accommodate the city's RENA, since all the low-income units are being accommodated by pipeline projects on site not included on this list. From a CEQA perspective, the state law include CEQA exemption for projects developed through AB 2011, which will result in a direct change to the environment. The recommended action only include administrative changes to application processing, and there is no change in land use being proposed. The administrative procedure, not CEQA project, and staff has made the finding for the exemption as recommended in the next slide, pursuant to section 15378B5 of the CEQA guidelines. Finally, our recommendation action tonight is for the City Council to adopt a resolution exempting certain eligible parcel of the city from requirements of the Assembly Bill pursuant to California Government Code 65912-114, 65912-124, and adopt a resolution exempting certain eligible in the city from the requirement SB 6 pursuant to California Government Code Section 65852.24. I also want to thank our staff from the various departments, including Lee Pesescapor and Ricardo Soto from Planning, John Funk from our City Attorney's Office, as well as Tina Parmesley from the IT department, putting a lot of time into processing the data and mapping of all the work. Before you tonight, there's also a supplemental package that has been handed out that put into the record our responses to the three comments, especially from the HCD as well as other commenters, to supplement our records as well as additional supplement information to our SB 6 bills. At this time, I would like to turn over the presentation to our City Attorney's Office to talk about 32A.
Thank you. Madam City Attorney?
Yep. So Mayor and council members, as you saw this evening, we asked you to add as an item of urgency, item 32A. 32A will in effect take the resolutions that have been presented to you and put them in the form of an ordinance. Some might ask, why are you doing that? The reason we're doing that is because after the posting of the agenda, it was brought to our attention by numerous organizations that they felt that this law required the use of the ordinance versus the resolutions. We've had extensive discussions with our staff. We believe that staff has made the right choice in presenting you with the resolutions, but we also believe that if we could take this simple action of adopting the urgency ordinance and also having the first reading of the regular ordinance, that might be a way to actually address some of the comments that we received after the posting of the agenda. And really, there is no harm by doing that. It just provides us an additional argument and addresses some concerns that were raised late in this process. So my recommendation is that you take action on all three items in effect. It would be the resolutions as proposed. You would have an urgency ordinance as to AB 2011 and SB 6, and then the first reading of a regular ordinance as to AB 2011 and SB 6.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney.
I'm so sorry, Mayor, if I might also mention those additional items are available electronically for members of the public who wish to have them, as well as copies will be made available in this chambers this evening.
You'll have copies this evening available. So the three recommendations, are there any council members that would like to comment, please? We'll start, Councilman Penalosa.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommended action.
I'll second that with comment.
Okay, let me make my way with it, okay. Any comments down on that end?
I just want to say thank you for the work that you guys put in. This is a great balance for even having affordable housing being built in the city and also protecting the way we do work in Santa Ana. So I want to appreciate it. Is it possible to have, to sunset the ordinance, or is that just a resolution that's able to be sunsetted, like in 10 years?
I'm sorry, why would we do that?
To look at it again, there's exceptions and.
You would have to do
The two bills sunset automatically at the state level
Correct.
in
Okay, we're
2023.
good. Thank you for explaining that. Mayor Pro Tem?
So they sunset at the state level?
Yes, based on the adoption of those two bills, they sunset in 2033.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you. I'm fine with the motion. However, I did want to add a friendly amendment because I think it would be helpful if we could create a map that clearly indicates the location of the new AB 2011 alternative parcels for folks to have access to on our website. So to the maker of the motion, would you, thank you.
I won't support it just because it's not part of the ordinance, but I do support the action, and I was, in my comments, going to ask that we create that map.
And we have created the maps. We can post that as part of our completion of the implementation.
So Sonia, can you clarify, because the maker of the motion accepted, but the second didn't?
No, you didn't accept it.
No, I've said I'm not going to accept it because, again, we don't need to have it as part of the ordinance. It's an action that I hopefully we'll all support.
Right,
I do.
I just.
Okay, yeah, so you would need a first and a second to actually amend the ordinance. And it sounds to me like there is going to be a separate motion made to actually support the creation of the map, or at least direction provided to staff.
Let me go back.
No, so let me provide clarification. The map that we're going to publish.
So not everybody's talking at the same time. Go ahead.
I apologize. The map will be published at the staff level and does not require any modification to the ordinance or the resolution. We have already created those maps and we will publish it after the adoption.
So what you just said is there's already a map,
Correct.
and it will be published.
Correct.
So therefore, we do not need.
Right, and there is no valid amendment because you need both a first and a second to have the amendment.
That's correct. So I just want to clarify. Okay, does that answer your question, Madam
Yes,
President?
thank you for answering my question, City Attorney, and thank you for confirming that staff is working on a map that will be available to the public. Thank you.
Councilman Hernandez, nothing?
Just wanted to say thank you to staff for bringing this to the council. Looking forward to supporting this. Thank you, Director Tai.
Councilmember Finn? I'm going to go with him last because you know he's going to talk.
That's right. Yeah, right.
No comments from me, thank you.
Councilman Becerra?
You are correct, Mayor. So I do want to thank staff because in the time that you were given to work on this, you came back with a modified proposal, and I want to thank Madam City Attorney as well, because I think between Director Tai and our City Attorney, you've come up with the solution to what you were trying to accomplish, but taking the input of our carpenters and taking in the input of various stakeholders. One thing I do want to say, though, is when it comes to the HCD, it is frustrating. It is absolutely frustrating. You want to punish good actors. You keep coming after good actors. And you know what you're going to do, HCD? You're going to end up dissuading good actors from acting good. Not Santa Ana. Santa Ana is going to be fine. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. We ain't broke. You don't need to fix us. But other cities, as they're updating their general plans, why on God's earth would they go and be as ambitious as a Santa Ana when we did it, and you're trying to take an interpretation on density that actually punishes us? That actually punishes us. That's ridiculous. So I think what the HCD is doing is actually going to be detrimental to what their stated purpose and their stated goals are. So hopefully the HCD will focus their efforts on bad actors and actually reward good actors like the great city of Santa Ana. So with that, I'm happy to support this. One last thing I would say is that when it comes to our brothers and sisters in union labor, many of you that were in the audience were here last week when you saw this council support a CWA. So I think you guys know this, and I just want to make sure that it's abundantly clear that this council is a labor-friendly council. We don't need state laws to tell us to be labor-friendly. We adopted a CWA that was ambitious without any state push or any state laws, and we're going to continue to support housing construction in the city with the use of union labor. So at least I know this council member will, and I'm pretty sure that most of this council will as well. So with that, I'll be supporting the motion on the table. Thank you.
My only comments, and thank you, staff, for the great work, and I know you've been working hard and meeting with people, and so thank you, and you and the city attorney, and a lot of you have been. I know I was in your office at 2:30 this afternoon, and lots of meetings around this, and you know, when you said earlier that we exceeded RENA by, did you say? That's right. I want you to say that again.
2,400%.
And I want everybody that's listening at home or that's here to know that Santa Ana, the city of Santa Ana, exceeded RENA by 2,400%. And yes, we did vote in support of the CWA. We are labor friendly. We are looking for, housing. We are building housing for our families. We're doing a lot of great things in this city. And so to my brothers here from the Carpenters, thank you for being here, being here with us. But I would just also say that Councilman Becerra is right. HCD should go pick a fight somewhere else. It should not be at Santa Ana, because we've done our fair share and then some. And so I personally haven't been sitting here that long, but I feel like we're being punished because we've done such a great job. And the expectation is you do more and do more and do more. When is enough for Santa Ana? And remember, no matter what, we have to continue to look at housing also to generate revenue. So otherwise, we're going to be sitting here in 10 years from now. I won't be, but other people may be. I'm going, what happened? What happened? So I will support this as well. And so let's prepare to vote. Can you do a roll call, Madam City Clerk?
Yes, Mayor. The motion by Councilmember Penaloza, seconded by Councilmember Becerra, to approve the recommended actions, which include approval of 2 resolutions, adoption of 2 resolutions, adoption of 2 urgency ordinances, and first reading of 2 ordinances in regards to exempting certain eligible parcels in the city of Santa Ana from the requirements of Assembly Bill 2011 and Senate Bill 6. Councilmember Becerra?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Penaloza?
Yes.
Councilmember Fan?
No.
Councilmember Vasquez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez? Mayor Mesqua?
Yes.
The vote is 6 ayes, 1 nay, nay by Councilmember Fan. Motion carries.
Thank you. Let's go to business calendar, item number 31, please.
Honorable Mayor and council members, this item before you deals with school crossing guards. We spoke at the May 16th City Council meeting, and City Council directed staff to return at a future date, future council meeting, along with a plan to transition away from paid crossing guards to a volunteer crossing guard program. Since that time, Public Works Agency under Executive Director Nabil Saba has done a lot of research on the matter, and we have a recommended action for you tonight. It's really a 3-prong approach. The first one is we want you to direct us in 2 ways and then also authorize myself to execute an agreement. The first is to direct us to continue to work collaboratively with all the school districts and private and charter schools to implement a volunteer crossing guard program and establish a crossing guard training program. So the responsibility that the city would be taking on would be through our traffic engineering and through our police department to provide training to the volunteers that the elementary schools send our way. The second item is to direct us to formally notify the school districts of the phasing out of the contracted crossing guard programs. And then the third item would be to authorize the city manager to still execute an agreement with all city management services to provide crossing guard programs. The task that we're taking is it's going to take some time to ramp up, and we still want to have the safety net of the crossing guard contract. However, the contract has been scaled down to the normal amount that we had in place before May, and it also allows us to terminate the agreement on 30-day notice.
Are there any questions?
Yes. Madam Mayor?
Go ahead, Councilman Hernandez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just wanted to say thank you to our city manager for your proactive leadership, Madam. I know that this has been a contentious item, and I thank you for bringing us up-to-date information. This is a topic that is important to every single neighborhood in Santa Ana. We're a city that prides itself on being the youngest city in Orange County per capita, 13 to 24. But I do want to remind my colleagues that there are children who desperately need us to protect them. And although I don't agree with the Santa Ana Unified not footing the bill, I want to urge my colleagues here that we were elected by residents whose families attend these school districts. Let us be the leaders that those children deserve. We wouldn't want volunteer cops. Why would we want volunteer crossing guards? We should pay for the highest level of service that our children and family deserve. You get what you pay for. So again, we aren't asking for volunteer cops. Why would we ask for volunteer crossing guards? How about this? Let's not gamble with our children's lives. Let's do the right things and let's fund crossing guards, because we are a city that struggles with pedestrian safety. We are a city where within a calendar year, you will see that we are riddled with, unfortunately, fatal traffic accidents. Oftentimes along the First Street corridor. More recently this year, we had 2 fatal pedestrian accidents off of First Street within 24 hours. So there's a school directly in front of a location where 2 people were struck by a vehicle and killed within less than 24 hours of each other. So this is a pressing issue, and children and families depend on us to make responsible decisions with their taxpayer money, which is why I will make the motion for us to move forward with option 3, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with all city management services to provide a school crossing guard program in the total amount not to exceed $5,343,100 125 for a 3-year term beginning July 1st, 2023, and expire on June 30th, 2026, with an option for up to 2 one-year extensions subject to non-substantive changes approved by the city manager and city attorney. This ensures that our children are with crossing guards until 2026. And so there is a motion on the floor.
Thank you.
I second that motion.
Thank you, Councilor Vest. Are there other comments?
Mayor?
Yes, go ahead, Councilman Penalosa.
The only question I had for staff, and thank you for working on this. I know that I previously discussed this with you, Madam City Manager, and you said you would look into it. But I know that staff identified a total of 14 charter schools that are elementary schools that are in our city that also service our kids that don't have any city-funded crossing guards. Can we assure that this crossing guard program will be distributed equally throughout the school? Because 14 charter elementary schools that service our kids also need, safe crossing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So we certainly intended for all the schools, whether they're public or private, to participate in the volunteer training program. With regards to the crossing guard contract, it was only for the 55 crossing guards that benefit 3 school districts. So are you asking if we can also extend paid crossing guards to private schools?
Yes. Well, the charter schools aren't private schools. They're also public schools. But private schools, charter schools, traditional public schools.
All schools.
Yes.
All elementary schools.
All elementary schools that would, because I know that Edward P. Cole, for example, it's right off of First Street, and I've seen kids crossing First Street. And for as many deaths as we've had on First Street, I would hope that we could reach out to them and say, hey, we're gonna, because I don't think it's fair to just provide it for the 3 traditional public school districts in our city, but for all the elementary schools that are.
We can, but we do have a not to exceed agreement before you. So if we start that, we probably will be hitting the limit sooner rather than later, which would require us to come back and do an adjustment to it. But I believe we can reach out to those schools to determine if they do in fact want a crossing guard.
Okay, because just by looking at the map, I could even just by knowing the traffic patterns in the city, I could quickly identify some public schools that might not be such a high risk as, some off of First Street or Harbor or 17th Street, for example. Right. So just as long as we pay attention to that as we move forward, that these are also elementary schools that are providing education to our kids here in the city. With that said, I will make a substitute motion to approve the recommended actions 1, 2, and 3 in the staff report.
And I'll second that substitute motion. I also want to make a comment, piggyback on what Councilman Penalosa was saying. I know, City Manager, we had a discussion about it. We've had several. Yes, we have Santa Unified, Tustin Unified. I believe we have one school at Tustin Unified, which is an elementary, that we provide crossing guards. We have Garden Grove Unified, with just a few, handful there. But we also have charter schools. We have the Magnolia one on right across the street from Romero Cruz Academy. I mean, there's so many, right? If you're counting 14 charter schools. And then we have the Catholic schools. And, so if we're going to look at our children in our city, and we're going to talk about the safety of our children in this city, then it should not just be a focus on Santa Ana, Tustin, and Garden Grove. $5 million is a substantial amount of money. If you need to come back, I'm sure you will. But I just want to give some information. Because I believe you told me today you had a few conversations with the superintendent, and he's agreed with the volunteer program, and they want to do some sort of pilot project.
That's correct.
Won't cost them much money, but I'll leave my comment that I was going to say alone, that comment. But I want to just share with the community the projected ending balance for the Santa Ana Unified School Year. This is the ending fund balance for this fiscal year. $292.5 million, $189,475 million, and $114 268 million. Add that up, it's almost $400 million. That's an ending fund balance. And I'm not going to say no to this. Of course, I'm going to support it because we want our children to be safe and we want crossing guards. But I think it is absolutely irresponsible for the school district to fund other items, other things, their own, whatever it is that they believe is their personal agenda, and not come to you as a city manager or here, because I don't believe we had our joint meeting this week. There was not a quorum, so we did not have a joint meeting with the school district and the city, and I believe this was going to be a topic of discussion. But it's absolutely irresponsible on their part to have such a large projected ending balance, and they can't even throw us a penny. That's how much the safety of our children matter to them. So it matters to us up here, and I can't speak for my colleagues, but it matters to me. So yeah, I'm going to support it. And I support Councilman Penalosa's amended recommendation here, because I want you to come back in a year from now and say, oh, guess what? It's increased. Because a year from now, 3 of them are up for re-election. And I'm going to sit up here and say, how much do you care about our children? Because you have this much money, this much, we as a city have this much, and we're footing the bill. So I am very happy that Councilman Penalosa asked to include charters and all elementary schools that are in our city. We have charter schools, we have parochial schools, we have Tustin, Garden Grove, and I believe we even have one in Orange on the edge there by Morrison Park. So if we're going to protect children, which I'm all for it, let's protect them, then let's protect all children, not just Santa Ana Unified children, but all children. Any other comments on that, Councilman Vasquez?
Yes, I have a question. Why do we pay for crossing guards? Why do we do it?
I believe we've done it for a long time before my time. We did, when we were researching this item, we did find a municipal code that speaks to crossing guards for elementary schools.
So we said we were going to do it. It's our job to do it. It's in our municipal code. That is part of a responsibility. It's our responsibility to make sure people get from point A to point B. It's traffic, it's people walking on our streets. It's our jurisdiction. We told the kids we'd get them to school safely and take them back home safely. We were going to grab their little hands and we we're going to make sure we do it. That is our job. It's our jurisdiction. Santa Ana ranks third in the worst in pedestrian safety in California. It's our jurisdiction to do this. It's within our streets. It's our job. We have a plan for this. We have 171 pages, Safe Routes to School plan. It has like 5 parts. And one part of it says, hey, funding. The funding has listed 6 possible places to get grants. It has that the district can't apply for because they're not a city. But we can apply for grants. It's within our own plan, our Safe Routes to School plan. So, and this is also breaking a relationship with the district when we're asking to work with them to get us more park space, to get us parking overnight. We're trying to work with them, maybe even open up some pools in the summer. I know I used to lifeguard at Valley High School in the summer, and as kids came to swim in that pool as well. We're trying to use the school to get out word, information, the face centers that work with parents, to get surveys, for us to get information, and to get our information out. We're trying to build a relationship that's not transactional, that's actual built with care and compassion and community. We're trying to be a city of compassion. It was mentioned up here that with all the money the district had, they didn't hire counselors. I know I have doubled the counselors. We went from 500 to 1 per counselor per student to 250 per one. We hired teachers to make sure the classrooms were lower. The reason they have $1 million, it's one-time funds that come from the government. They've been lowering, but they kept that money to have the counselors and to have the teachers in there. They're at $990 million. In 4 years, they're going to be at 750 because the one-time funds will go away. They will lose a lot of teachers and a lot of counselors. This will make them lose a lot more people. When you pass this, you're defunding children. You're going to say, the school district is basically to serve children. We're going to defund children? Is this what we're doing now? We're going to be up here and defund them? The school district is losing students because of the high cost to live here. They're going from 53,000 a few years back, and in 4 years, they're going to be at 33,000, losing almost 20,000 students. There will be less need for crossing guards, or we could disperse them throughout the city evenly. But we should not be defunding children. This is our job. We said in our municipal code, we said that this is our job. Like, we took it on, and we have taken it on. This is our responsibility. They're within our streets and with our jurisdiction. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on the side? Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, thank you. I guess I just want clarification on the sub-motion on the floor. It's inclusive of recommended action item 1, 2, and 3 with expanding it to other schools. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Councilman Penalosa asked for charters, 14 charters.
So your motion says we're going to expand this program to include other schools.
Yeah, I'm thinking, because if it is codified in our municipal code that we need to provide the safety for students, I don't think that it should just be isolated to Santa Ana Unified, Orange, and Garden Grove. I mean, there are other elementary schools in our city that are in our city. I mean, I think the private schools could pay for their own, but the public charter schools, they shouldn't be on the losing end of the stick because we're providing all the service to the school districts.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. So I want to make the second sub-motion to approve staff's recommended action item 1, 2, and 3 as is. If we're having a conversation about phasing out this program, the way that it is written here, the way that I am reading it, the way that it is laid out in front of me, I don't think it's productive to tell other schools, hey, come join this program, but you're only going to be on it for 3 months or 6 months. I think we really should be setting the standard. Look, the city is phasing this program out as it is written here, as we're going to take a vote on it today. And so I think everyone should just start to plan and move that way instead of bringing more people in and then eventually having to tell those people, hey, the city is no longer going to provide crosswalks for the kids that are enrolled in your schools, whether that is a public school or a charter school. So hopefully people will support the sub motion. But additionally, I wanted to thank our staff because I know that we have pushed very hard for you guys to prioritize these conversations, especially during the school joint sessions. We've said we don't just want these reports. We want actionable items. We want to see things be moved forward to the council, and it feels like it took so many months to do that, but I want to thank you all for doing that on behalf of this council. And of course, I want to thank the superintendent and his team for being willing to meet with our staff continuously, not just on this issue, but the other issue that the school joint committee brought forward was, the master plan for the joint use facilities that our residents have asked us for. So, I think it's a good step forward. As I said, this is putting a formal notification to them saying, hey, we want to phase this out, but I also am very supportive of coming up with a pilot program of volunteers. This is something that we talked about, I think, in 2021. There's a lot of people that are retired that want to get involved, that want to help in some capacity, in some way, and I think that this is going to be a good opportunity for them to do so. And so I'm supportive of action item 1, 2, 3. I don't think that we should be expanding it at this point. Thank you.
So I would thank you for that, Mayor Pro Tem. That makes sense. So I would withdraw my sub motion and second Mayor Pro Tem's motion.
Thank you, council member.
Any comments on this side? Nope. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you so much, staff. This is such a throwback to, I don't know, 2 years ago when I saw this item on the agenda. I want to thank you for coming up with a solution or trying to find a solution for this untenable situation. I think that we all here, at least I do, support safe ways for students to walk to school. I walk to school. I walk to school all the time through most of my time when I went to Heritage Elementary, when went to Fitz Intermediate. I get it. I think it's really important. But at the same time, we're not saying we don't want to support crossing guards. At least when I brought this up, it was about saying, hey, school districts, let's be equal partners in this. Let's split the bill because we want to be partners. And the vast, vast majority of crossing guards are in the Santa Ana Unified School District. And for a very long time, as a student who went to Garden Grove Unified School District, we did not see the same kind of relationship with the city that we're building now. We didn't get those benefits. And so I don't know if it's because the former council members had kids who went to Santa Ana Unified or whatever their relationship was, or some of them, there was musical chairs of some sort. But ultimately, what I saw when I joined this council was that we were having better relationships with school districts that we weren't working with, like Garden Grove, when they let us allow our neighborhood associations to meet at Russell Elementary for $1 and not make us pay and make our residents pay to meet at the school districts, because you know what? They decided that neighborhood associations and the residents and the community is a part of them too, is a part of that community too. And that, I think, is what we're trying to say. We're trying to get equity here. And equity means splitting the bill when you can. And I think in this case, we can. And we should, with all the school districts, and let's come together and find a solution. So I hope that with staff, as you continue to look at this project and these issues, that we continue to find ways. Because the school district isn't coming to us and saying, okay, they'll charge us for this, they'll charge us for that, until we push back. They'll charge us another item until we push back. They try to charge us for the water tower at residential rates. Who's gonna build homes under a giant water tower? We had to push back. That's not being partners. And so it's really frustrating to me that, we're saying that we're defunding children, we're not. But we're also trying to make sure that another public agency that has a bigger budget than the city of Santa Ana also shares in ensuring that our children walk safely to the schools that they operate. And so with that, I will support this item. But again, I want to see staff continue to pursue opportunities for funding and ways to make sure that we can help offset the cost of this, because as many of my colleagues have mentioned, we're looking at a structural deficit. And the more we continue to subsidize an agency that is better funded than we are, the worse off all of our residents will be. Thank you.
Madam City Attorney, can you share with us the municipal code, please?
I would have to look up the exact provision, but I can do that. I'll see if the city manager also has that handy.
I believe we have it stated in the staff report. So it's Santa Ana Municipal Code 36-121, and it states that adult crossing guards for street crossings by elementary school children on their way to and from school shall normally be provided by the city.
So thank you. So the liability rests, and I'm going to support this, but I want to clarify some things. First of all, the reason counselors have 250 to 1 is because in 2018, I moved that item. And I pushed it as a school board member, and I proudly say that because they were at 600 or 800 or 1,000 students to 1. But I pushed it, and I got support from the board members, and that is why they have 250 to 1 counselors. And that's why we have wellness centers, 56 of them, and that's why we have FACE staff. It takes a lot of work. But city manager, let me ask you a question. So from my 8 years of sitting on the school board, the district has a responsibility for our students, all school districts. I'm not including charters, I'm not including private. Public, Garden Grove, Tustin, Santa Ana. Madam City Attorney, you can chime in anytime. But according to the attorneys that I worked with at the Santa Ana Unified School District, Romo and Associates, very, very reputable attorneys. We are liable. The school district is liable as they walk to and from school. Is that correct?
I cannot speak for what
Madam
the
City
school
Attorney?
is liable. I can speak to the city.
Yeah, I don't know. I know education code and education law is different. For a city to be held liable for a dangerous condition of property, we would have to both know that the condition exists, and we would have to have the ability to fix the situation. As I read Municipal Code Section 36-121, I believe this section is actually the section that addresses the dangerous condition, because it says that you shall provide these crossing guard services, but it also specifically describes when you have to provide them. So it appears to me that this was setting the standard that you would use, and that if you provided them under this standard, there would be a presumption that you did not have a dangerous condition.
And when does it say when you have to provide them?
There are various requirements at uncontrolled crossings where there is no alternative controlled crossing within 600 feet. It has standards as if the critical approach speed does not exceed 40 miles. So it's very, very specific. I believe in reading these specifics, it is here to establish your duty to provide crossing guards under these conditions. And if you were not to provide crossing guards in these situations,
Those conditions.
you would be liable. Correct?
Right. And I'll go back to my notes because I have 8 years worth of notes and information from the school district. That's the beauty of keeping all of that information. The school district is responsible for students to and from school, and even while they're on the school grounds, right? So I just want to be clear that yes, we have a responsibility as a city too. And they've never paid, and I agree with Council Member Fan that it's not asking them to pay for everything and not asking Santa Unified to pay for everything, but to look at all the school districts that we're helping and how can they pay. A couple of years from now, we're not going to be able to pay $5 billion for crossing guards. So we better come up with a plan on how we're going to pay for that, because they have the money. And yes, one-time money is very important to school districts, and what they do with it is critical. How they use it is critical, because we know they're not using it on police and security, they're using it on other things. So crossing guards is definitely not one of them. So I will support the item, but Madam City Manager, if you can have, I know they're talking about the Muni Code, huh? If you can have, Madam City Attorney, if you can reach out to Jim Romo and Associates, their attorney, or I can, I'd like a very clear answer on this for the future, because what I remember in the documents that I have at home, the school district is responsible for children to and from. And so we are as well in the Muni Code. So I want to make sure that we get the correct information. Go ahead, I know there's 3 sidebar conversations going on.
We certainly can do that, Mayor.
Thank you.
To research that further. And, you know, I know that I was directed to try to get the school district to pay a part of the funding of this, and I can't force an
No, I know you
independent party
can,
to.
and they don't want to pay. I mean, that's the bottom line, they don't want to pay for it. So, again, this council will take the responsibility, but at a later date, I do hope that we come back and look at charter schools, and I hope that all charter schools show up here and ask for crossing guards as well, because I know the one, like I said earlier, I think it's Magnolia, is it the Magnolia? Magnolia Science Academy, those kids, it's dangerous on First Street. So those cars are flying through that street. So if we're gonna talk about placing kids in danger, then why wouldn't we include the charter schools? I know Councilman Penalosa changed his amendment, but I'd actually like to put it back out there, because we have charter schools that need crossing guards. El Sol, you have to cross the street. Osea, I mean, it's dangerous. So if we're gonna give one to all, I think we should be fair. I mean, give some to a few, we give to all. And then we look back and say next year or 6 months from now, $5 million is going to last us hopefully 2 school years, 3 school years maybe, I don't know. It depends how many we have. But I would like to make amended motion and add back the charter schools onto this item.
I'll support your sub-motion, Mayor Mesqua, to include the charter schools. Specifically, you brought up a need that I know is important. Magnolia is that school that I was talking about. It's located right in front of First Street, so I'll support your sub-motion.
Thank you, Councilman Hernandez. Okay, thank you. So let's.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Does that include the parochial schools as well?
No, I won't. I'm not including the private schools. I'm just including the 14. I think you counted. And we can get the exact number of the charter schools that.
So there are 14 private and 8 charter schools that serve elementary.
Perfect. There we go.
And one of the charter schools also does fund their own crossing guards.
Well, we can ask them if they need more. Can you give us the name of the 8 charter schools, please?
I have a question while she looks
Yeah, I
at
know
it.
you do. I heard you.
I'm sorry, Mary, I don't have the.
Okay,
the
can you
list of
send
them.
us a list after
Certainly.
tomorrow? And thank you, Councilman Hernandez. Anybody else want to speak on this side before I go on this side? You good? Good? Okay, Councilman Vasquez.
Thank you. Attorney, I have a question. Being the third worst for pedestrian safety, does that constitute an unsafe condition?
No, in order to be held liable, we'd have to analyze each and every location or intersection. We would often look at things like the number of accidents that have occurred. We'd look at sight lines. We'd look at whether there have been people speeding and that we've made no effort to maybe control those speedways. So while you might have some overall, it may be that we do have a lot of pedestrian accidents in the city. It doesn't mean that all of those accidents were caused by an unsafe condition. It could have been even a pedestrian error at times.
Thank you.
Okay, there is a motion and a sub-motion and a motion on the floor.
Mayor, really quick.
Yes. I'm sorry, you wanted to speak? I apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I won't be supporting the second sub-motion on the floor, because again, like OSEA, which you said when we discussed this item a couple months ago, they pay for their own crossing guards, and here we are gonna go to them and say, hey guys, don't worry about it. But psych, you're gonna have to come back and pay for them again at some point in time. And so I think we're setting a very unfair, unrealistic expectation for ourselves when we're clearly stating that the city, even though it is in our municipal code, has no intentions of continuing to fund this program. And so I want to be very direct of why I'm not supporting the second sub-motion on the floor, because we've heard now for so many minutes, 9:15 now, of why why the council does not want to support this program. However, we're now expanding it for a temporary period of time when we know that there is no genuine, that we financially, there's no interest to continue to support this program. So I will not be supporting the second sub-motion on the floor. Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak?
Really quick, Mayor.
Yes.
Let me get.
Forgive me, yes.
And Madam City Manager, and I hope we could work with our Director of Public Works, Nabil Saba. I think this is also an opportunity for us to look and see if we could focus on educating the public as well. I mean, we might be I don't know where the statistic is from, but number 3 in pedestrian deaths and whatnot. But a lot of it, I've seen these drivers out there on the road. They're our own residents. They're our own Santa Ana residents that are driving crazy out there. The accidents on Main Street weren't caused by the planters. They were caused by distracted drivers not going the speed limit. I mean, these deaths, a lot of times, unfortunately, jaywalking is now legal in California. Thank you, state. But, these deaths are also caused by distracted drivers not paying attention to where they're driving. So there's a million things that we could be doing to educate the community. And it's common sense to drive under the speed limit around elementary schools. When you take your DMV driver's license test, it's 25 and below. I hope that's right. And it's just, we got to also put out a campaign or something in support of that. And also, Mayor, I will say that I heard you say that the school district doesn't want to pay for it. And although I agree, it's also, their priority is not our student safety. It's not children's safety. we know that that's not the case. I mean, we saw a board member compare school shootings to an airplane crash, that although it's sad and it's a gut-wrenching thing, it's doesn't happen, often. That's what school board member Rigo Rodriguez once said at a school safety meeting. So we know that where their priorities lie. With that, that is it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Hernandez?
Thank you, Mayor Mesqua. I just wanted to let the public know, why I'm supporting this item. I know firsthand that my district has probably one of the largest amounts of schools in all of the city, the center of Santa Ana, Ward 5. And Magnolia Science Academy, Orange County School of the Arts, and more specifically, Orange County Educational Arts Academy. These are a couple of schools that a lot of our kids are walking home and walking to school from. And I know most notably Orange County Educational Arts Academy recently lost their crossing guard, and they also lost their walkway. It was a walkway that was not instituted by the city, and so that leaves children with an even larger risk without crossing guards and without a safe walkway for them to cross the street. So I do want to indulge my colleagues that this is an item that will be coming back to the council when this term does expire. And it will give the city the opportunity to enter into new contract agreements. And I just want to reiterate to residents of Ward 5 that granted our voices are here at that dais when that time comes, crossing guards should be an essential service to our residents and our families. And I'm looking forward to supporting this item today. And when the time comes in 26, I hope that our city continues to invest in children and families because this is a matter of public safety and we shouldn't have to debate on keeping kids safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hernandez. Let's prepare to vote at this time.
A motion by Mayor Mesqua, seconded by Councilmember Hernandez, to approve item 31 with an expansion of the program to 8 charter schools. Councilmember Becerra?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Penaloza?
Yes.
Councilmember Fan?
Regrettably, yes.
Councilmember Vasquez?
No, I'm for student safety.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez?
No.
Mayor Mesqua?
Yes.
Vote is 5 ayes, 2 nays. Nays by Mayor Pro Tem Lopez and Councilmember Vasquez. Motion carries.
Great, thank you. Item number 33, please.
This item before you is a follow-up. We had a request to originally establish a seniors commission, and staff brought back some different recommendations and options. And at the majority direction, we're now returning with the actual introduction of an ordinance that would add 2 senior positions to the existing Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Commission. So the 2 additional members, they would be nominated by both of our 2 senior centers, and it would be for individuals that are 55 years old or older.
Any comments?
I'd like to move the item.
I'll second the item. There's no comments. Let's prepare to vote, please. Roll call.
A motion by Councilmember Becerra, seconded by Mayor Mesqua, to introduce the ordinance for the Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Commission, adding 2 positions for residents aged 55 and older. Councilmember Becerra?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Penaloza?
Yes.
Councilmember Fan?
Yes.
Councilmember Vasquez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez?
Yes.
Mayor Mesqua?
Yes.
Vote is 7 ayes, no nays. Motion carries. Ordinance introduced for first reading and publication of title.
Thank you. Madam City Manager, do you have any announcements?
I do. I have an exciting one. So the Arbor Day Foundation has named the City of Santa Ana Tree City USA 2022 in recognition of our commitment to effectively incorporating urban forest management in our community. This is the 24th consecutive year that Santa Ana has received this honor, and Santa Ana achieved the Tree City USA recognition by meeting 4 requirements: maintaining a tree board or department, having a tree care ordinance, dedicating an annual community forestry budget of at least $2 per capita, and hosting an Arbor Day observance and proclamation. So if you have any questions or need assistance with our city trees, please contact our Public Works Maintenance Division at 647-3380. You also can use my Santa Ana app. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you. All right. Councilman comments. Councilman Vasquez, please.
Thank you. It's really sad that our municipal code doesn't make us take our responsibility and protect children and keep children safe. We're just gonna ignore it. We're gonna ignore what we're supposed to do. We're gonna lay it on somebody else just because somebody wants to throw a tantrum and get back at the school district. Besides that, I really think Juneteenth was an exceptional day. I had a great time. It was amazing. Thank you, Hawk, for your work. Thank you, Councilmember Hernandez. I wish I would have stayed all day and gone today, but I had other commitments, and it was awesome, and I'm looking forward to Pride. Thank you. Have a good day.
Mayor Pro Tem Lopez.
Yeah, thank you to our Parks and Rec Department for Juneteenth. It was really great to see so many of our community members, and to everybody involved. I don't know who you're pointing to. Public Works. Thank you also to the Public Works Department, to our CMO's office, and to everyone involved. It was a really great day. And the second comment is I have office hours this Sunday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. At Morrison Park. So hopefully we'll see community members out there. Thank you.
Councilman Penalosa, please.
Thank you, Mayor Amezcua. And just to continue with the theme of housing tonight, I want to give a special shout out. I don't see him anymore, but Judson and his department for all the work he's been doing over the last couple of years. Just this past week alone, we broke ground on FX residences in my ward, Ward 6, of permanent supportive housing that we help fund through city funding, federal funding, Orange County Housing Finance Trust funding, and that's going to be a much needed housing development in our city, as well as Wise Place just led this past week. A lot of good things happening, a lot of housing construction, diverse housing stock in the city that we're going to have, from permanent supportive housing to affordable to market rate. It's all needed, and I'm happy to see all this development throughout the city where it is appropriate. So thank you, Judson. Thank you, staff, for all your work you're doing there. And just wanted to invite everybody out this Saturday, June 24th, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., specifically Memorial Park residents. We are having a dumpster day, neighborhood cleanup. I know some of the kids from Mater Dei High School are going to be out there helping clean up the park and the neighborhood. So excited to see that happen. And hoping if you guys have any large bulky items in your backyard, please bring them out. I know I have a broken down grill that's missing 2 wheels, and it's been sitting in my backyard for about 2 years. So I'm going to be taking that to dump at the dumpster. So come out and help us clean up our park. Thank you. That's it, Mayor.
Councilman Hernandez.
Thank you, Mayor Amezcua. I just wanted to thank all of my neighbors who came out to today's meeting, took time out of their day to publicly comment, and our city staff for their devotion and dedication to making sure these city council meetings are ran well. And there was a lot of good items on here, a lot of good victories for our community. The Parks and Recreation Department had a monumental milestone today for the zoo. The zoo is a staple here in Orange County, so there's a lot to be celebrated. And I also want to thank my colleagues here for celebrating Juneteenth with us on Saturday. The city of Santa Ana was the first city to introduce a Juneteenth festival. Black history starts in Santa Ana. Orange County is a community that oftentimes is overlooked Black history, but many of us bear the freedoms that we have today because of brave African American residents that do come from our city. Our Juneteenth celebration celebrated freedom, it celebrated families, and it celebrated culture. We also acknowledged Dorothy Mulkey, who was a Black woman who in 1967 fought and challenged the Supreme Court related to housing discrimination. They refused to rent an apartment to her, and she contested it all the way up to the Supreme Court and was successful in a victory against, and that was a monumental victory for so many of us to be able to have the Fair Housing Discrimination Act. And credit to a Black woman from Santa Ana and Dorothy Mulkey who fought and challenged it. So I just want to say that Santa Ana Juneteenth is here to stay. I want to thank the thousands of residents who came here. And we got one resident who's like at every festival, John Ramirez. So I just want to say thank you, sir. I see you jamming in the crowd. I continue to enjoy those events, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Becerra, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will be holding my monthly community office hours on Saturday, July 1st at 10 a.m. over at the George Upton All Access Park on the north side of Carl Thornton Park. As you all know, I do this every month, and so I'm looking forward to seeing you in July. One item I want to bring up for this council is Santa Ana City Charter Section 408. We were talking about the Muni Code a lot today, but I want to bring up the charter. So that charter section says, interference in administrative matters. Except for the purpose of inquiry, the city council and its members shall deal with the administrative branch of the city government solely through the city manager or their designated deputy, and neither the city council nor any member thereof shall give orders to any subordinates of the city manager, either publicly or privately. This is not a council-adopted policy. This is the law of the people of Santa Ana. Violation of this charter could set us up for a lawsuit. Madam City Manager, I just want to say out loud that I hope that if there are violations regarding this section, that not only will you handle it accordingly, but you will also bring it to the full city council, because we should not be interfering. That the charter is very clear on that. And I want to make sure, because we have so many amazing employees in the city, and you know what? I don't want to lose them because we have council members interfering with their work. They do exceptional work as it is, and through your leadership, Madam City Manager, and through your exceptional EMT, you know what, I appreciate the staff that works with the council, but we don't need to interfere. In fact, it seems pretty darn clear in the charter. So I just wanted to make sure I brought that up. And Madam City Manager, if you would, again, if there are issues with any of us on this dais, please bring it to the full council. And with that, I'd like to conclude, just wish everybody a happy July 4th, because we won't be meeting until the third Tuesday in July. So happy Independence Day, and hopefully we'll see everybody out. Hawk, that'll be over at Centennial, correct? I see a nod.
Councilmember Friend.
Thank you, Mayor. Lots of announcements because we do have quite a big break. The first thing I'd like to say, though, is thank you to staff. Thank you to my colleagues up here. We've had quite a wild ride in the last 6 months with lots of disagreements. And I just want to say that, we've had our ups and downs, but ultimately I hope and I see that we all treat each other with respect and the dignity and professionalism that we all deserve and that our residents deserve. Because we can disagree on a million different things, but ultimately I believe, and I hope we all believe, that every single one of us in this room is here to make the city a better place for our residents, our visitors, and our businesses. And with that, I do have 2 announcements. The first is a city co-sponsored event. It's with I believe it's the Vietnamese American real estate professionals of Southern California. It's the first time home buyer event. It'll be on July 15th from 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at Salgado Center. As many of you may know, I've personally held workshops and clinics to talk about the first-time home buyer assistance that we have here in the city. And this major event is going to have partners that can assist our residents and really talk to you not only about the program, but also connect you with professionals who know how to work with the program. The second is going to be on Thursday, July 13th. The Vietnamese Business Forum. This will be the first ever Vietnamese Business Forum held in the city of Santa Ana, as far as I know. It's going to be held at a DoubleTree Hotel from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. so that those who are interested, residents, business owners, investors, anyone who's interested in working with the city of Santa Ana can come ask their questions. And obviously close to my heart, Vietnamese American residents who sometimes felt that they're not welcomed here in the city or that they can't open a business here in the city. Well, we're here to say that yes, you can, and we're excited to have you. I do want to say happy 4th of July, and finally, happy 7th wedding anniversary to my husband. We are coming up on 7 years, 4 of those. 4 years of long distance while he was serving in the Air Force, and I was here working to pay the bills. And 2 of those in COVID with lockdown. So, we've gone through a lot of thick and thin. And so I want to say I love you, and I will see you at home.
That's beautiful. Happy anniversary. So 4th of July is coming. I would like to remind everybody to enjoy 4th of July, but please be mindful of illegal fireworks. I see the notices the police department and the city has put out. I think the fine is $1,000, Chief AC? $1,000 fine for illegal fireworks. Please, please. Be careful. Do not use illegal fireworks. People get hurt. It's like a war zone until 2, 3 in the morning, and my poor fur babies, I have to medicate the heck out of them, and it's awful. So please be careful. Thank you for the parks that are opening up, and I know that we have security guards out there, and I'm hearing from families. I can't wait for more parks to open up, and for our kids to have, that ability to go to the rec centers there and things of that. So I want to share this. This is teen programming, Parks and Recs, and library. So there's a bunch of information. And for those watching at home, if you go online in the city website and you pull this up, everything's in here from teen hours, library hours, aerobics, dance classes. We have things in the library called the Library of Things. Did you all know that? We have in our library, it's called the Library of Things, and that is beautiful. So please look at this, because when our parents call or when our young people come up and say, we don't have things to do, we have 6 community centers, we have a teen hubs, we have arts academies, we have wilderness clubs, teen excursions to medieval times. Thank you, Hawk, and your staff for taking them. 4 swimming pools are open. I used to swim in the pools. Oh my gosh, I love them. That's El Salvador Park and Memorial. It was my favorite 2 parks to go swimming. So, there's a lot of things that are going on in the city. So please take a look. And thank you for sharing all this with me, and I really appreciate that. But the parks, again, we want people to use our parks, but we want them to feel safe, city managers. So I know we have security out there, and I hope we have the Lion. I know Councilman Becerra posted the number the other day, and I shared it for our Lion security. They can call while they're at the park. Oh, Councilmember Penalosa checked out a GoPro this weekend from the Library of Things, okay? He checked out a library. Did you really check out a GoPro?
We have GoPros.
Wow, look at that. I'm keeping this, okay?
Might have fallen in the ocean.
So please you can check out a stud finder, you can gardening tools. I'll leave it at that, because I'm sure somebody will say I said something inappropriate, but all right. Anyways, stud finder, your 7-year anniversary, you don't know. So, Madam City Manager, I know we talked about the mural at La Chiquita, and I think we were gonna fix that and get Tom Charis's name back up there, Tom Charis's, because it's been missing for a while. I think you found somebody, or you're locating somebody.
I'm working with community development. You made that request when we were actually
Right.
standing next to it, and we were able to look at it.
His son has been reaching out to me, so it's the only thing missing from that mural. So if we can please get that up, I really appreciate that. And then please go out and support our restaurants and our businesses here in the city. They need us to support them so that they're not closing. And then the last thing I'd like to ask City Manager is Fiesta Patrias. A few community members asked me if we have renamed Fiesta Patrias. And so I would just like to clarify that so people will know that we did or did not. And then when will it return to 4th Street? Because I hope the council will correct me up here, but we had asked for Fiesta Patrias to return to downtown. And I thought we said this year, but I'm being told it's next year. And so I believe we said this year. Okay, so we'd like clarification.
Sure, clarification. We're not renaming it. It is Fiestas Patrias, as it always has been. You did provide direction that you wanted it to return to
Not
the
me personally, but there was a bunch of us up here. Yeah.
to return to downtown. It's that large of an event that it takes about 9 months to do the planning for. So 2023 has already been in the works. We also have already sold some sponsorships that require space that we can accommodate in the site that we are doing. But for 2024, we can go back and evaluate and look at downtown, returning it at that time. But we were already too far down the road to make the changes for 23.
Is there a way we can kind of loop it around, possibly not the whole thing, but loop a portion around? Because I know, we can always change things. And you don't have to answer me tonight. I think the council, maybe people want emails, we want a response. But I think it's important because downtown merchants have reached out to us. I know they reached out to Councilman Hernandez and I about bringing it back to downtown because that is history in our city. And it's really important. So even if we looped back a little bit of it into the downtown, OCTA did share with me that they can divert some things there for us when we do have festivals down there. So whatever we can do, if you could just get back to us and let us know.
And the other challenge is, even though the tracks are going to be completely laid, the other construction that deals with the overhead stuff is still taking place. But what I can do for you is I can email the entire council what the site layout is for 2023, and that may give you a better idea.
And then what the possible layout may look like for 2024 when we turn it down to 4th Street.
Okay, we could
It doesn't have to be like, but it's just something that we can work with. If
We can do that.
Thank you. The meeting will be adjourned, and the next meeting is July 18th. And thank you for everybody who came out tonight, and happy 4th of July. Thank you.